Hey guys, welcome to episode 4 of The Benchmark. I'm here, as always, with my friend Armin from Armin's Tech Talk. How you doing?
Doing all right, man. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing okay. Today we've got for you an E3 special. I don't know how long we're gonna go because there's so much to talk about. Overall impressions of E3. What did you think of E3 2017 as a whole?
Well, I'll give you a joke answer, then I'll give you the real answer. The joke answer is nothing happened. Thanks, guys, for watching. I'm out.
And cut. All right. Our shortest
Okay.
episode yet.
Right? I know. That's what we were shooting for.
I'm sure people would really love that.
So the real answer is, I mean, some of it was great. Some of it was exciting. Some people had hardware. And then other parts, well, hey, it could have been better. It could have been better put together. It just didn't. Some of the, what's the word I'm looking for? Presentations didn't feel really fluid.
I agree. I think this year's E3 was good, not great. A lot of good things, some highs, a lot of lows though. So we might as well jump right in and just run down each company that did a conference and our thoughts on what they had to show us. So let's jump right in. So starting off on, God, what was that? Saturday?
Yeah,
Saturday. Last Saturday.
Last Saturday. Wow, it's already been a week.
It's been a week. E3's done as this is coming out. I kind of wanted to hold off and make sure we got all the news before we decided to speak on everything. So Saturday, EA kicked off things, and they had a lot of cool stuff to show us. Boy, I actually thought EA had a really, really strong press conference to kick things off. Usually it's a little stale typically EA because they're bringing the sports games, blah 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 blah, and it's really dry. But this year, I don't know, it just brought some creativity to it, I guess. Of course, we still got the sports games, but with the success of FIFA 17's essentially story mode, they decided to go ahead and do that with Madden as well, which is really neat. I think it'll breathe some new life into that for some folks, and they're continuing on the story in FIFA 18 as well. That was really neat. So seeing that was exciting. Of course, as a huge FIFA nerd, if you will, seeing all the new stuff from FIFA 18, also exciting. I know that doesn't excite you, buddy.
Not a bit.
The exciting news of FIFA 18, of course, is the introduction, in a way, introduction to both consoles, icons in FIFA Ultimate Team. They used to be called Legends, and before they were only Xbox exclusive, that you could get Legend cards in a pack for your Ultimate Team. But now they have rebranded them Icons, and they will be available on all platforms, PC, PS4, and Xbox One. So that's exciting for a lot of FIFA players out there on PS4 and PC, that now they can actually get these Legends. So that's pretty huge. And again, Armin's sitting there with a blank stare on his face because he had no idea what the hell I'm talking about.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm FIFA, great. I mean, guys kicking a ball around on the ground. I mean, sure.
Yep. Now, you may not be into the actual football, but you are into American football. So what did you think of the Madden reveal? Are you interested in the story mode? What do you think?
I mean, I've tried to play both NHL and Madden modes in the past where you play a single position. And I don't know, that's never really caught on for me, so I can just see this being a little bit more of the same with a story attached to it. I mean, in all honesty, I think a really great and stupid thing to have done would have been like make the Madden character the same character as this FIFA character and be like, I don't know, just do something dumb with that.
Well, I can kind of talk about that. The journey in FIFA 17, you play as Alex Hunter is the character, which you continue to play on in FIFA 18. But to kind of your point, there was an option in the gameplay where you could just play as him, or you could control the entire team. So I would assume that the same could be said for the new Madden story mode too. So
I mean, that would make it much more appealing for me if I'm just stuck to the one character. I don't care.
again, I don't know for sure, but if the journey is any indication, I would think that that would probably be an option. But yeah, so that was the sports stuff. Of course, they showed off NBA Live. Um,
Another basketball game that will not return.
yeah,
Oh, whoops.
it looks like Turd. That's putting
I
it
think it looks like
nicely.
third, but
Well, I mean, compared to 2K, this is just so far behind. Why
I
even
haven't even
bother?
seen I haven't even seen any screenshots of this year's 2K game.
Oh, you don't need to know it's going to look better than that.
I mean, that's presumptuous, but okay.
I don't know. Have you played the past 5 years of NBA 2K?
I
Because
mean, the last one I touched was 14 when the consoles came out.
yeah, I would say that that one probably looked as good as what EA showed there. But yeah, basketball, cool. Moving right along to some more interesting news. A Way Out looked phenomenal. They showed off a couple of indie titles, but I think the highlight by far, one of the highlights at E3, to me personally anyway, was this game A Way Out. A co-op prison break looking game. It just looks so innovative and cool and something we've never seen before, really. Can you think of anything that's really done it in that style?
Hmm. Not that I can honestly think of. I mean, but it's been a long time since we've really had couch co-op per se.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, I think the way they want you to play it is couch co-op, but it does also have an online functionality too, so you can play with someone online.
Well,
Um,
hopefully you have somebody to play with online because to my understanding, you can't play this by yourself.
that's what it's looking like. So I actually haven't read any details on like the features, but is there like matchmaking? I would assume like you can find someone to play with.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. But yeah, the style of this game just blew me away. The ability to have one player kind of in a cutscene, but another player on the same screen in its own screen doing some action, but could see the other person in the background. I don't know. It just it's so neat. So neat.
I mean, as I said, you've had things like that in the past, but not maybe for a single player type of experience. I mean, we used to couch co-op and have all that kind of stuff all the time back during the 64 generation. I mean, once Microsoft and Sony decided to start picking up on online, this
Hmm.
stuff went away.
Yeah, it really did. So it's kind of cool to see someone embrace it. And it's to my knowledge, again, I don't think there's anything been anything quite like this before, where it's really this whole split screen thing is just part of the narrative, really, of the story. It seems, and I don't know. It really impressed me, and definitely something I'd like to check out. Maybe we'll play together if you're getting it.
Yeah, I definitely consider getting it.
Yeah, it looked really cool. So one of the main highlights of EA's press conference, of course, and they spent a large chunk of time showing us this, Oh my gosh, Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy, that looked really good. Now,
I mean, one might think they've been developing that ever since before Battlefront 1 released.
yeah, we'll kind of get touch on that. Battlefront 1 was not. It was good, not great. There was barely any depth to it. No, you can't say it was terrible because
That was terrible.
the graphics were amazing. The multiplayer was fun, but there wasn't any substance to the game. It was thin.
Nah,
It
it was
was
garbage. It
it
was
was
garbage.
placated to everyone because they wanted to piggyback off from the release of The Force Awakens, and everyone from a 8-year-old kid to a 40-year-old dude who loved Star Wars when he was growing up could pick this game up and play it.
So it was, and I'm sorry, I'm going to be fairly divisive about this.
Mm-hmm.
It was watered down mainstream garbage.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I'm a gigantic Star Wars fan. I love Star Wars probably more than any franchise of anything. And for me, who was looking forward to a new Star Wars game, especially by DICE, I I was completely crushed by this thing when it came out. I didn't like it.
I didn't even get to the point where I was playing it when it came out. I stopped with the beta. I'm like, like this is all right, done.
I honestly thought the full release would have just had more, and it really didn't. So I was very disappointed. But moving on to the topic at hand, Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
Wow, what seems like a complete 180-degree turn from Battlefront 1. It looks exciting. We've got a single-player campaign with a story that looks fascinating. Bridging the gap from the end of Return of the Jedi and the Battle of Endor to Force Awakens. It's going to help bridge that gap. And I mean, there's some novels out there currently filling in that gap, but this looks to be another storyline that we're going to see.
Did you, I'm sorry, and this is kind of tying into this conversation, at least with the single player.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that there is going to be a novel, which is actually a prequel to this story?
I did, and I'm not surprised because the first Battlefront game did have one as well, but that did not interest me for whatever reason.
Well, supposedly that novel didn't directly tie into the story. This one does.
Oh, it does. Okay, so this is directly related to it. I'm assuming relating to the main character.
Yes. The Fire Squad.
Yep.
What the hell's the squad?
Yeah, I
okay.
believe it's called that. And her name escapes me off the top of my head here. Something Versio.
Iden.
Iden Versio, yeah, something like that. So that I don't know. She seems like a fascinating character with a cool backstory. So yeah, a novel to help tie it to the game tie the game together would be great.
And then if you do the audiobook version, the actress who is voice acting the character in the game is going to read the novel.
Oh, neat! I didn't know that. That's
Yep.
pretty damn cool, if I do say so myself.
That is pretty cool.
but-
I don't.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm not a big fan of audiobooks, but I might actually attempt that. I don't know. Like I'm kind of hoping that the end of the story isn't the end of that character. I would actually I don't know. During the press conference, I really liked what's her name? I'm gonna murder this. I don't know if it's Gina or Jaina Vandekar.
Mm-hmm.
She had presence. I mean, I heard a Giant Bomb interview with her later where she's like, yeah, I didn't sleep, and man, I came out and I was maybe too intense. I mean, I don't know. It worked for me. I thought she had presence. I thought she was definitely clear. I mean, to the point, excited. I mean, kind of showing that she's a fan. And then, you flip from that Imperial character over to like the real human being after. And I don't know, that presentation worked for me. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, I was gonna say you may not be a big fan of audiobooks, but you certainly were a big fan of her.
Yes.
And who wouldn't be? She was great. I agree with you. She seemed to have presence at that conference, and I believe that character um, will be will be pretty significant. And I think we'll probably get attached to her. I think the fact that she's an Imperial and the storylines kind of coming from a point of view from that side opposed to the good guys is fascinating. And it kind of looks like to me, actually I know this for a fact, her father is in the trailer. He's like a grand admiral or a general or something
Hmm.
in the Imperial Navy. So it looks to me like she's grown up her whole life just knowing the Empire and no
Hmm.
other way. So that leaves so much story to be told with her after the fact that the Empire crumbles to maybe where she opens up and sees things for what they really are. So um, it'll be
Well, I mean,
fascinating.
the way that this story's been described is, some people are just they're in the Empire because they don't see the Empire as evil. I mean, it really in some cases has similarities to U.S. history,
Yeah,
in the division of the United States. The What was the other interesting thing that I heard about this? Oh geez, I'm sorry, it escapes me now at the moment. But there was another interesting tidbit that I had heard about the single player. I don't know if it comes back to me. I'll just
yeah.
interject, I guess.
Oh, that's fine. But that's only the single player, of course, only a small portion of what they showed off. And actually, they barely showed off the single player at E3. What they truly focused on was showing everyone the revamped multiplayer. Um, Now, what did you think? I mean, it was awesome to see the gameplay,
Hmm.
but the way they did it, did you think that that was a good way to show it to everyone with like the shoutcasters and having all these YouTubers, influencers playing the game? Um,
I mean, considering like what it was a 20v20.
I
Um,
can't remember.
I believe that's what it was. It was 20v20,
Hmm.
and I mean fairly large map and different things. I mean, all these companies. I mean, whether you're talking about Microsoft or Blizzard or Sony or whoever, there's been a big focus on esports, and I wouldn't be surprised if EA doesn't try to wrangle this multiplayer into esports in some sort of fashion. So, I mean, maybe that's why they chose the presentation type that they did. I mean,
Right.
you got to show multiplayer somehow, and I mean, what better way than to get a bunch of people? I don't know if they were playing on PC or if they were playing on consoles. I mean, they didn't specify that, but what
Yeah.
better way than to get a bunch of people together and just say, "Hey, play this," and we'll have some YouTube folks over here on the side. Like it was what, two YouTubers and like the developing or project lead of the game.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought it didn't bother me personally, but I could see how someone who's just looking forward to seeing some footage might be a little put off by that kind of presentation. But I'm used to watching Twitch. I watch people stream all the time, so to me it was fine. But I
I
could
mean,
see.
it gives some extra commentary. I mean, it's like if you watch football or you watch soccer or you
Yeah,
watch baseball, or I mean, for goodness sakes, if you watch the World Series of Poker,
yeah, true.
you get commentary. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, to your point about esports, I mean, EA as an entire company is really heavily focused on esports, touching again on the sports portion. Uh, Both Madden and FIFA have a very large professional community, and they do have large tournaments with pretty substantial cash prizes that are
mhm.
streamed on Twitch and are kind of a big deal. So yeah, you're right. With that in mind, it's not surprising that they went the route they did, showing off the Battlefront 2 multiplayer in this way.
I mean, and I'm curious. I'm curious whether or not. I mean, because you have circuits that will develop games and use games. I mean, maybe for a few years. I mean, the fighting circuit has used Street Fighter 4. I think they finally have moved on to Street Fighter 5. I'm not 100% certain to that.
Hmm.
Oh, and I can't even think of what the heck that's called, but there's like a big thing in August every year where everybody gets together and there's like a bunch of multiplayer contests. I mean,
Oh, the fighting one, Evo.
yeah,
Yeah, Evo.
Evo. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, but Evo is more than just fighting. Like they do Mario Kart
Hmm.
competitions during
Yep.
Evo. So
Yep.
I
They got a
mean,
bunch of games.
who's to say that maybe for a couple of years it'll be Battlefield 1 and then it'll be this thing and then it'll be whatever the next Battlefield is. It kind of gives the ability for a rotation. I mean, I'm not saying that they necessarily play the same, but I mean, it does have similar tropes to it. I mean, the vehicles, the large levels, the large, multiplayer combat, I mean, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes, yes. I don't know that we'll see this as an esport quite yet. I'm not saying you won't either, but based off from the changes that they've made, I can definitely see it heading in a more serious direction where someone who is a pro could, compete in this, whereas before it was more casual. So yeah, they showed off a bunch of new features, if you will. Um, the gunplay seems more enhanced. Um,
I was so happy they went over to a points-based system to pick up like your
yes,
heroes and your ships instead of like icons on the ground.
absolutely agree. That was so stupid in the first one. So just the first person to run over to that icon would become Luke Skywalker, and it could be some absolute noob, for lack of a better term. That just I don't know. It wasn't great. It wasn't great, and this was a great way to kind of make it more like a God, comparing it to Call of Duty, kill streak, if you will.
Yeah,
Points based kill streak. I think
but I
that's a
mean, I think
great.
they have to. I think they do have to balance it though, so everybody can get the full experience. I mean, I don't think you can shift it so hardcore. I mean, let's face it. I am not any kind of competition when it comes to first person shooters
Mhm.
whatsoever. It's like, but I do want to get to fly as the Millennium Falcon or a Naboo starfighter. I mean, uh, I never was able to get a nuclear strike at the end of Call of Duty just to end a round prematurely. I'm not that good. It'll never happen.
Yeah.
But when shifting over into this game, like for that, okay, yeah, fine. I mean, that is definitely a skill based thing. But it's like if you're going for an experience, which Star Wars is a universe and an experience, you have to be able to give me the option to say, okay, we're going to balance this in such a way where, yeah, you can do this. It might be hard for you to get there. I'm not saying it should be easy, but it that there is the ability for even somebody of a mediocre level to actually be able to play those characters.
No, I agree, and I think that's why instead of, yeah, I guess I used the wrong word when I called it a kill streak because it's not that. It is point based, like you said. So therefore, someone who plays maybe like yourself more of a supporting role um, would get points in other ways other than kills, helping your team out, and still be able to take advantage of those perks. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely like that change. But for every change they made, I do still have a couple of reservations. Things they didn't exactly fix was I really thought for sure they would have had ground to space battle, just like the old Battlefront. I think it was 2. Yeah, Battlefront 2. You could get in a starfighter and go from the planet to space, and there was a battle in space. And I thought for sure, based off from the initial trailer, that we were going to get that with this one. It does
I
not seem like that is a thing. It seems like it's going to be separate again, except for this time in space. It is a space battle opposed to a battle above a planet like in the first
Mhm.
game, but it's still not what I want. And that is really disappointing to me, especially with the technology today. I mean, we got to be able to do that because that was one of the main, most awesome things you could do in the old games. I mean, talk about Star Wars, hopping in your starship, flying up to space, landing on a star destroyer, and having a battle inside. And we can't do that. And that's disappointing.
Well, I mean, it's we've done. I don't know how I want to address this. At that point, we were starting to expand console capabilities, and graphical fidelity wasn't quite as high as it is today. I mean, I feel like we've kind of made. I mean, it's that old argument of, do you want finer detail or do you want breadth and scope? Um, I do feel that there is more scope with these new levels. The Naboo level, you could get quite a bit of height on that starfighter. I mean, we did see some dogfights that took place, I mean, fairly high above the ground battle, but not so high, of course, where you could get you into orbit. At this point, I don't know, with the amount of detail that we have, that's really a possibility. I mean, maybe if it were to be something like a Scorpio exclusive or a PC exclusive, I mean, that would be a possibility. But once again, you also got to develop for the lowest common denominator. So, I mean, you're really looking at a next generation product if you want something like that, I think.
Well, if that's the case, I believe this game is going to be a massive step in the right direction. However, it's still not going to be truly what I want, and that is a new age, old Battlefront 2, if you will. Because that
Right.
game was so awesome. Holy crap. Talk about one of the most fun Star Wars games ever made right there. They just did a phenomenal job with that old one. But yeah.
The so the one thing I want to touch quick, and I want to go
hmm
back to, because I remember what I was going to say,
Oh,
is that the actress did confirm that during this game that they did actually have somebody from the LucasArts story group with them,
yes.
like
Yes.
all the time.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty fascinating too. I mean, one of the writers used to work for IGN, Mitch Dyer, who I'm listened to for years on like Podcast Unlocked, things like that. I really like the guy. He's got a good heart, good personality, it seems like, and he's a great writer. So, and he's a huge Star Wars fan. So when he left IGN and said he was going to work on a game, and I found out this was it, I truly think that single player is going to be awesome.
I mean, yeah, I'm hoping. I mean, this is really the first time we've seen some Star Wars single player story game in, ooh, goodness, quite some time.
Absolutely. Now, staying on topic with Star Wars, what we didn't see was the Amy Hennig Star Wars game. Why didn't we see
Yeah,
that?
yeah. I mean,
There,
EA's saying this is Battlefront's year,
yep. I was just gonna say
so
that's what they
not going to
said,
do that.
but yeah,
I mean, she only started with them last year. Was it last year or was it 2 years ago?
no, it was 2 years ago.
Oh, all right. I thought it was last year. I mean, next year they'll be ready to show something. It'll be 3 years at that point.
Yeah, yeah. Of course,
You,
I'm excited for that because it seems like it's a single player focused game, and coming from one of the main brain children of the Uncharted series, Amy Hennig. That style of game, her style of humor and writing in the Star Wars universe is just so exciting. So I was a little disappointed not to hear anything, but yeah, again, next year
so
we'll probably hear something.
so actually, I'm gonna need your help.
hmm
I know they moved Star Wars 9 back to or up to May 24th of 19.
Yep,
Did they move the Han Solo movie back to May, or is that sitting in December?
I'm not sure. I'm not 100% on that one.
I mean, if it's sitting in December with 3 years, I mean, assuming that they're using Frostbite, I mean, it's possible we could get that. I mean, that game could be literally shown and released in the same year.
Yeah, it's possible. Definitely
Um,
possible.
Considering I believe the plan for EA is to release a Star Wars game every year,
That's a
like from
smart
here
plan
to 2020.
because I mean, yeah, what the deal was a 10-year deal. That started what, 2 years ago?
Yeah,
So, clock's ticking.
yeah.
Games take years to
So,
make, so
I think that's the intention. And I told you, I really think it's not going to be necessarily maybe a direct Star Wars tie, but direct Star Wars tie. Yeah,
well,
they're.
I hope it is.
Uh, I think it's going to be tied in with the Han Solo movie, but maybe not like we've been used to in the past, a direct correlation with the movie.
It's entirely possible. It totally is. If I personally had to guess with Amy Hennig, I would expect it to be a new character that she's molded, you know. But Nathan Drake is a very Han Solo-esque character, so she is used to dealing with that type of character and that type of story.
Well, and she has it her that's come out and said this. I believe she came out and said this, that the game is very Uncharted like.
And I am okay with that.
So
Yeah, we'll find out hopefully more next year.
yeah.
But there we have it. So, EA closes their press conference with an announcement. And that announcement was BioWare's official title of their game, Anthem, where they showed, 30 seconds? And then just
Or
said,
if that.
hey, you can see more tomorrow on Microsoft stage.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, so initially I was, I don't know,
So it looked like a Titanfall ripoff.
yeah, that's pretty much what I said, but that was probably a direct quote from me. It was just like, I was like, what the hell? We've seen this before. This aesthetic, this rundown human civilization, and now they got these mech suits. I was like, really? Ugh. But we'll later find out what I think about that now. So,
Wait. Before we jump into Microsoft,
yeah.
I mean, two other things at EA.
Okay.
They showed off some new maps for Battlefield.
They did.
They showed off, which those night maps look awesome. I don't even own Battlefield 1. I want to just buy it so I can play those night maps. Those look pretty damn cool.
Yes, they did.
And then they showed off, what is it? In the voice of the Tsar, in the eyes of the Tsar, something in the name of the Tsar. In the name of the Tsar, that might be what it is.
I don't even remember that.
That is the Russian front. So.
Oh, you mean part of Battlefront or Battlefield? Sorry.
Yes.
Oh yeah. No, I know what you mean. I thought you meant a game. I was like, I don't remember that.
Well, that's an expansion to a game.
Oh yeah, sure.
Sure.
Yeah. Those night maps looked awesome. Battlefield 1, one of my favorite games of last year. Absolutely phenomenal. By far, in my opinion, the best Battlefield to come out yet. And they continue to support it, which is good on them.
I'm hoping that with the Russian front, like we had the sandstorms on the African front in that game. I'm hoping to see some blizzards.
The beauty of that Frostbite engine, sir.
Oh, it is. It's a beautiful engine. I mean, that is a beautiful engine.
Sure is.
The last thing I want to mention about EA is really the fact EA hasn't been known for the most part to be, in years past, very consumer friendly, very people friendly.
Mm-hmm.
But this year, and I don't know if you watched their thing all the way to the end.
Yep.
They actually set up and assisted like in putting a battle box together, so one Twitch streamer, YouTube streamer, whatever, could propose to another, and I thought that was kind of cool and cute and sweet, and yeah, I'm making my sound sound like a sissy right now, but I thought that was awesome.
No, yeah, definitely. They've come a long way from being the most hated company in the entire world to maybe not so much. Now, one other
Good on
thing,
you, EA.
yeah, good on you. But one other thing before we move on, they did announce Need for Speed.
Oh yeah, that game. You mean Need for the Furious?
Need of the Furious, Fast and the Speed. I don't know whatever you want to call it, but yeah, it's got a story mode too, of course. Just like that seemed to be their main narrative this year was narrative in all
Yes.
their games across the board. So yeah, Need for Speed, you race cars, vroom vroom, looked like a Fast and the Furious movie. Actually looked pretty good in my opinion.
You know
Yeah.
what? I will play that dumb thing. I don't know if I'm playing it on PC or if I'm playing on the XBX, but
Yeah, I don't know what much more to say about it, but it does look good. It looked good. It looked like
yeah,
a
no, it did.
movie, and
Let's do it.
I'm all about it. But yeah, I didn't want to forget that it's Need for Speed Payback, I think, right?
Yes,
Yes,
payback.
Need for Speed Payback, and looks pretty good. So yeah, that wrapped up Saturday with EA kicking it off, and then we move into Sunday. Sunday was an interesting day.
Oh, it sure was.
Sunday was an interesting day filled with good news and a good conference, and it was also filled with a bad one too. But first, we'll talk about Microsoft.
Yeah.
The focus and lens was pointed directly at Microsoft for this E3, with good reason. Hardware, 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 hardware. When there is a console that is going to be unveiled at E3, that is where the focus is going to be, and Microsoft sure had the focus on them. So we find out right off the bat that Xbox Scorpio will be called Xbox One X.
Which abbreviates XBX.
Or Xbox One X, XBOX, Xbox. So they literally spelled it out. Hey, whatever. Say what you will about the name. It's honestly one of the less stupid names that I heard people throwing out there. So I'm not mad at it all. Or not
I would have
mad
been
at it
happy if
at
they
all.
kept it as the Scorpio as well. I mean,
That wouldn't have sucked. But it was a code name. That's not usually standard to keep your code name, so I get it. But it's called the Xbox One X, which sounds eerily similar to Xbox One S, depending on your pronunciation.
it's true.
However, Phil comes out, tells us about that. Then I forget his name, came out and talked tech specs to us.
Was it Mikey Barra? Who was
No,
it?
it wasn't Mike Ibarra. I cannot for the life of me remember his name, and I'm sorry. But anyways, yeah, he was talking tech specs to us. So we found out some interesting things about the Xbox One X. One of them I thought was fascinating was the liquid-cooled vapor chamber. We're getting a liquid-cooled console. What the hell? That's awesome.
Well, I mean, it is awesome. But that attributes to something else too that I guess we'll touch on a little bit, so I'll save my comment for then.
Yes, that's fine. So, anyways, he went on to talk about like the power delivery system, how it's more mirrors PC. We got what was it, 12 gigs of RAM.
Mm-hmm.
8 will be usable by not 8,
9.
9.
They updated that right before the conference.
Ooh, 9. Okay, that's phenomenal. More power for those developers to take advantage of. So that's good too. This blew me away. Absolutely blew me away. I 100% thought for sure this thing was going to be bigger than the Xbox One S.
Oh, I was expecting it to be.
100%. Not a doubt in my mind. And then they come out and tell me it's even smaller. Get out of here.
Well, thanks to your vapor chamber.
Exactly. I don't know. I thought it was neat. I really like the style. It's very, very extremely similar to the Xbox One S, which I think is a pretty sexy looking console. This one's all black. I like it. I like it a lot. One notable thing that I thought they were going to do, because quote unquote premium pricing, premium product,
Yeah.
the controller is the same controller that you get with your Xbox One S, just in black.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to get that Elite controller, but I guess not.
You're not the only one who thought that. I talked to a few other people who thought we were going to get that too.
But
Uh,
that's neither here nor there, I guess. I guess I didn't expect it. I just thought that would have been a cool premium product thing to do. So, slightly disappointing. But anyway, then they moved on into the first game. Of course it would be Forza. Of course it's running at 4K 60 frames per second, right?
As it should.
As it should. A racing game, although beautiful and gorgeous, not the most demanding, just due to the nature of the games and how they're made. So, what do you think about Forza? And what do you think about the unveiling of the console, I guess?
So, I mean, I'm a tech guy, you know that. I mean,
Yep.
I talk a lot of hardware over on my channel. So, the vapor chamber's interesting. Design-wise, it's going to pull air in from the side and eject it out the back like a jet engine.
Yep.
It's going to have all this RAM. It's GDDR5 RAM now, so it's using graphical RAM similar to what the PlayStation 4/PlayStation 4 Pro used. It's got more, which is always interesting. It's got, of course, the upclocked CPU, which is Jaguar cores, but not Jaguar cores, but Jaguar cores. They're not really clear what that necessarily is. There's, of course, some enhancements, but that comes from an integrated computational project over at AMD.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I find all this, hardware-wise, really interesting. And as I said, I'll get into the size of the box when we talk about the price. I don't know if I'm as big of a fan of the design. I mean, it's black. I like the fact that it's black. It looks very similar to the Xbox One S as I look off here to my side over at my white Xbox One S. It's got, of course, the UHD Blu-ray drive inside, HDR support, 4K support. As we were talking, getting into Forza. Man, look at all that rain. I mean, the puddles and the rain and the lighting. I mean, those guys do a great job with those games. I mean, it really. I think I heard. Well, and I don't know if this is happening because Sony didn't show that at their conference. I know we're not talking about Sony yet, but it's supposedly, I think GT Sport's supposed to launch this year too, and that is supposedly going to be 4K. I don't know if it's going to be 60 or not, but to actually see how those two games look stacked side by side next to one another is going to be amazing. And it's also important to note that Forza 7, I do not believe, is Xbox One only. It is Xbox One and Windows 10. So if you don't want to buy an Xbox One, you still will have the opportunity to play that game on a 4K PC. And of course, it's cross-buy. So if you get it on one, you get it on both.
Yes.
I kind of want the disc-based version anyway, but that's just me. I like discs. But no, the game is just so beautiful. I mean, it's amazing what they can do with cars, and I know I'm rambling at this point, but I mean, just like the clear coat and the reflection off it, and the scenery of the tracks. But I mean, it is easier to get those games up to that magical 60 frames a second because it's an enclosed circuit. I mean, you kind of know what is going to be where, and you go around in a circle just like you do in NASCAR or any other type of race. So the developers have a very limited space that they have to work with and that they have to optimize. I mean, to use a racing euphemism, maybe you're having problems in corner 3. I mean, and so you get some developers to go over there and work on that. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, again, what better way to showcase your new hardware than with a racing game? Made
of
perfect
course.
sense. Perfect sense. And Forza is a pretty large exclusive game for them, so
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's huge.
yeah. So
I mean, I'm. Are you kidding? You haven't any idea how many games I'm pre-ordered and gonna. Oh man.
so so yeah, we may not have been totally positive on this year's E3. However, there's a crap ton of games we're both going to be buying next
I'm
year.
gonna be broke until 2019.
You'll probably need a second job, to be honest with you.
Ugh.
Or, how about this? The 10 people that might watch this, go on over to Armin's channel and give him some views. Maybe we'll make some money at this yet. Uh, so then they moved on here and showed some more games. Games. They had a really strong lineup of games, I thought, that they showed off. I was pretty impressed with everything they showed for the most part. They showed Metro Exodus, the new Metro game announced.
That's gonna be beautiful.
Woo! Holy crap, dude! At first I didn't know what the heck it was,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was like, oh my god, is this a new Metro game? And then sure enough, new Metro.
The second
game.
I saw the watch on the guy's arm, I was pretty sure it was a Metro game.
Yeah, that's pretty much what gave it away. And I don't know, like, obviously we don't know. I mean, they said it was running on Xbox One X. What they were showing, I believe, is what it said at the beginning of the video. But we still gotta wait a little while to see the more finalized stuff from them. But what they did show was beautiful, absolutely
Oh
beautiful.
yeah, it was.
And they were sneaking around, jumping through the window. Then they had that huge freaking creature thingy that was like chasing them down, and oh my god, I don't know. I just thought that was so freaking neat, and it looked like this is kind of a departure from the other Metro games in the fact that I believe I read that like it's all going to take place topside.
To my understanding, it's supposed to be open world.
I am totally in for that journey, and it looked amazing. So, very impressed.
The other interesting thing I think is, I mean, and you saw this in the trailer, of course, so this is some trailer speculation here, is when the guy was underground, he had his mask on, but when he got topside, he took the mask off.
It's almost like role reversal versus the other games, yeah?
Yeah. So I'm wondering if the humans pretty much went back to war, or if I haven't finished Last Light, so I mean, hard to say what happened at the end of that. If that, I mean, affects this game, I really honestly don't know.
Yeah, I'm fascinated to find out more. But to note, that's also coming out on PC and PS4 as well. So not an exclusive title, however, they paid that money and got it on their stage. So
They did. I mean, the only other thing I would note is they came out and they said it was being rendered in Engine. It is that video quality is a target. It's not. I would expect this game to get pushed to 2019, honestly.
ooh, yeah, definitely. I don't think we're gonna see it anytime soon. But still a fun little tease, and if that's what it's supposed to look like in a roundabout way, I'm very, very interested in that game. So another huge AAA title that Microsoft had on their stage was the very interesting Assassin's Creed Origins.
The first Assassin's Creed game I'm going to play.
There you go. And that kind of speaks volumes, I think, to this game. Now, I still have some reservations, and I'm still a little nervous that it's going to be a little samey to the old ones, but what they showed, of course, running on Xbox One X, looked beautiful. Uh, there's new gameplay mechanics in the game. Uh, it's in Egypt. I think I should just stop there because is there any other place in the world that's cooler than that setting for this style of game?
Not for, I mean, when you're talking about history, I mean, besides ancient Rome, um, there's really no other place in history I really want to go back to besides Egypt. I think historically Egypt's an amazing place, just like ancient Rome was.
Absolutely. It's that time period and uh, geographic location just fascinates me to no end. I love history, and that particular area has some of the richest and deepest history on Earth. So this is, I will get this game, and it looks phenomenal. So yeah,
So,
Microsoft was able to go ahead and again pony up that cash to get this on
right.
their stage too. So
One thing I did notice is I do not think that they've dropped the future stuff from the Assassin's Creed. And the only reason I say that is during the gameplay
mhm.
that they showed, there was almost a green techno like silhouette around the character at certain points.
Mm. Oh, I don't doubt that they're going to stick with the same formula for the series. I bet you any money it touches back to Abstergo company, or corporation rather, and you get that back and forth. But remains to be seen, of course. But Assassin's Creed Origins implying that this was kind of the creation of the Assassin's Order.
It
Um,
would be. I'm sorry, go ahead.
it just seems like it's going to be a prequel to all the other games. Um, which, if you're going to try to take a year off from the franchise and breathe some fresh life into it, this is probably the best way to do it.
It would be interesting to play this and then go back and play one. I mean, technically and gameplay wise, that might be hard because we've advanced since then,
Oh
but
yeah,
narratively,
narratively, yeah, yeah, yeah. It'll be fascinating. Definitely be fascinating. But yeah, any other thoughts on Assassin's Creed Origins?
I like the fact that they're going RPG-ish with it.
Yeah, there were some hints of that. Picking up new weapons. Is this one better than my old one? New
Yeah,
bows. It's hey, it's new to the series, and anything that they want to add to it to better the game, I welcome
I
with
mean,
open arms. So
that seems to be like the thing about Ubisoft, or the interesting thing about Ubisoft is like they have all these different types of games in development, and then they kind of pull bits and pieces of mechanics from each game to build the next one. Um, you have the
almost to
Eagle
a
thing,
fault.
yeah, almost to a fault. Towers, I hope towers die. Um, but I mean, you had the Eagle thing, which supposedly was a Far Cry Primal thing. You had the weapon stuff, which is a Division slash Ghost Recon Wildlands thing. You have the slow mo bullet time stuff, which is like Max Payne 3. I
Yeah.
think Ubisoft was Max Payne 3.
No,
Um,
no,
who was that?
that was uh
2K?
Max Payne 3 was, oh my god. This is bad. It wasn't Rockstar, was it? Yeah, it was.
Maybe?
Yeah, it was Rockstar, right?
Okay, yeah, 2K. Never mind.
Yeah.
But they, like, I mean, the guy's jumping off a wall and he's shooting an arrow, bow and arrow at another guy. I mean, hey, we're bringing back the bow and arrow again.
There you go. Boom. Yeah, that thing where he jumped in the air and it was slow mo was almost like the new Zelda, pretty much, Breath of the Wild. You can kind of do that in it.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, I don't know. It was neat. And I think I said to a fault that they borrowed from their other games. When you make so many games that as Ubisoft does, and so many of them in different genres, um, you, you kind of can't blame them. They're one of the industry leaders, and
Well, I mean, they're
why wouldn't you borrow elements that work from your other games to put them in your other titles?
well, of course. I mean, and they're also following the EA model, where I think a lot of their games are starting to use their internal engine.
Mm.
Um, EA has Frostbite, and I believe these guys have Snowdrop.
Yeah, it's some weird name. But yeah,
They're French, of course. It's a weird
oui
name.
oui.
Eh.
So
Oh,
that was great. Again, game that's also coming to PC and PlayStation 4 as well. So not an exclusive title, but exclusive to their stage. Um,
indeed.
but moving on to an actual console exclusive, State of Decay 2. We get to see that running. I personally never played the first one, but I think the concept is really cool, and what they showed looks really neat. Is it a graphics powerhouse of a game? Absolutely not. Kind of look like Dookie, but
Well, I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, it looked like something
no,
out of.
no. Okay, that was probably a little harsh, but for the type of game it is, I don't know. It looked okay. It looked okay, but gameplay wise, it looked neat. Looked like a cool world where you could play with your friends in this zombie-infested environment. It,
Supposedly, I think I heard four-player co-op.
that would be cool. That would be cool. Kind of like a more modern day, slightly more realistic version of Left 4 Dead. Um,
Yeah.
are zombies played out at this point in time, though?
Some people say yes, some people say no. I mean, I don't know. I don't play a lot of games with zombies in them, so
Yeah,
I mean, sure, what the hell?
yeah. Um, yeah, a lot of people seem to be excited for this one. A lot of fans of the original State of Decay. Again, I never personally played it, but if I knew people that were playing it, I wouldn't hesitate to give it a shot.
Here's the question, because this
Hmm.
is a cross-buy game.
Okay.
Xbox One X
Hmm.
or PC?
Okay, a lot of people out there who may be watching might not be as fortunate as, say, you or I. You or I have pretty decent jobs where we have a little bit of disposable income, right?
Yep.
So I own a Switch, I own a PlayStation 4 Pro, I own an Xbox One S, I will own an Xbox One X, and I own a high-end gaming PC, okay?
Right.
So for me, it always comes down to one option. Where are the majority of the people I know playing this game? So, to answer your question, wherever the majority of people are playing this game, if I were to try it, that's where I would get it.
Okay. I mean, I would be interested to see if Microsoft would make this crossplay.
That would be fascinating, actually, and I bet you that's not out of the realm of possibility. Definitely not. But if that's the case, now,
Well, if that's the case, it doesn't matter.
well, hang on a second here, okay? Is this going to be specifically a Windows 10 store exclusive game, or
I
will
think
you
if-
see it on Steam?
I think at first it'll be Windows Store exclusive, but I think eventually it'll end up going to Steam, like a lot of their stuff just recently has or is about to.
Okay, because if that is the case, then you're going to have some serious issues with player base, because Steam and Windows 10 don't talk to each other as far as playing with friends. That was a huge problem with people who bought Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, or Infinite Warfare, excuse me, I'm sorry. Infinite Warfare on the Windows 10 store. The player base was so small, some people I don't even think could find games because everyone bought it on Steam, and people didn't
Right.
know that that was going to be the case. So definitely something to
I
look
mean,
out for.
I mean, that's. But at that point, you're talking a third-party game. You're not talking first-party. I mean,
Sure.
And if you're buying it digitally, chances are you would get cross-buy anyway, which would be attached to the Windows 10 store, not to the Xbox store, or
Yep.
excuse me, not to the Steam store.
Yeah, it's true. So I mean, I don't know. This whole Play Anywhere program is still pretty much in its infancy. There's not a ton of games that have taken advantage of it yet, so I'm sure we'll find out more as it grows, and they'll work out any kinks or
Indeed.
so.
Although I will say that it does make me more apt to buy my Microsoft first-party games as digital games. That way I can try them both on the PC and on the console.
Absolutely. It depends on the title, of course, for me. But for example, Gears of War 4, I bought digitally because I definitely wanted to try out 4K on my high-end PC, see if I could pull it off 60 frames a second. What does it look like? So yeah, I completely agree with you. Moving right along. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about this next one, but they announced a Dragon Ball Z fighting game. I don't... That's not exclusive, is it? Or was it?
Oh,
I don't either.
no idea.
But anyway, the art style looked really cool, really true to the show, and I saw a lot of people online were buzzing about it, but meh.
Do you know do you know a lot about Dragon Ball? I know nothing about Dragon Ball.
I watched a little bit of it when I was younger, but I had no idea what was going on. There was a lot of screaming with the camera fixated on one character who was powering up for 10 minutes. I don't freaking know.
You know what? I'm gonna power up. I'm getting my drink of choice.
Oh, you're getting your Dr. Pepper?
Yes.
Yes.
This episode not brought to you by Dr. Pepper.
If only.
Right?
Well, I guess I gotta vamp a little bit thanks to this guy going to get his soda in the middle of an episode. Not sure who he thinks he is, but me and him are gonna have some words after this show.
Oh.
Oh, there he is. Welcome back. I was just
see?
telling our faithful viewers how awesome you were.
Because I got up and left to go get Dr. Pepper.
No. It's just nothing but good stuff, I assure you.
I hope.
Alright, so you fuel up while we keep moving along here. Alright, so, big one here. I guess it depends on who you talk to. Sea of Thieves. Microsoft showed off some actual, really almost in-depth gameplay of what Sea of Thieves is. Because I think even after what they showed last year, it was still, up in the air, really, what that is.
I mean, I think it was up in the air, but I think they've finally gotten to a point where, they really know what this thing is. It's kind of an open world where you're going to get to kind of live the pirate life, explore caves, do stuff with your friends. To my understanding, it is very server-oriented, being that it's an open world and that there's other people that can attack you, this, that, and the other. It's not just going to be NPCs, and that's my understanding of it.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing, and I don't know how I feel about this, I hadn't really figured this out. There was an article that came out shortly after the Microsoft presser, which talked about you couldn't ever be marooned on an island. So if your buddies take off in your ship, there's a magic mermaid that shows up and they can bring you right back to your ship.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, so I thought it looked really, really cool. I think there's a definite audience for this game.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be pretty popular. Now, that being said, is it for me? Probably not. Pretty much no one I know would play anything like this. But
I'd try it.
I think
I'd try it.
I would too. It seems interesting enough for me to try. It's almost, like a open seas, open world, Destiny-esque kind of game a little bit. Or finding loot and hanging out with your friends and I don't
I
know.
mean, I guess the thing is like I didn't play Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I got like 2 or 3 different copies of it sitting around here somewhere, but I never actually played it.
Uh-huh.
Um, so terrible at that. Oh, we could make an episode about that just by itself. But it's I don't know. It's one of those things where I haven't done it before, so it's like I wanna try it. It's a different experience,
Looks cool, and they even showed like you going underwater, being attacked by a friggin' shark. That was pretty neat.
right?
As you're carrying a chest back to your ship, that was pretty stressful. And then they showed that part where you're bored, someone on your team, you hop into the cannon, they shoot you over to the other ship attacking you, and then you're on board their ship killing them, and I don't know. It was
Right? I
neat.
mean, I mean with the whole thing that they were talking about, like you can't be maroon. Can you like what's the word I'm trying to look for? Can you hijack another player's ship and then go sell the damn thing?
All questions that we have no idea about, which is, it's kind of, I guess, a little weird that it's so close to release, we think. I believe it's 2018 is what they said, yeah.
Yeah, I think they said 2018.
And we still don't know a lot about it.
Seems like a lot of things are being scheduled as 2018.
Sure does. We'll get to that press conference later in the show. Um, yeah, so Sea of Thieves exclusive to Xbox One X, or excuse me, Xbox One, not the One X. That would be false. It's part of the family. Yeah. Any closing thoughts on Sea of Thieves?
R
Our
matey.
matey indeed. So, moving on from one exclusive to another, Crackdown 3 was showcased. And we got my boy Terry Crews up in that thing. Oh, God. Terry Crews is awesome. And, yeah, Crackdown 3. It's the thing.
It's a thing.
The clip they showed concerning in the fact that it didn't showcase a lot of destruction. That's kind of a
Yeah,
big
they
thing.
talked about that too after the conference.
So, I don't know. It seems like this game got delayed, and delayed for a reason. And it might have been a technical reason. I think maybe their initial vision for the game was a little too big for their britches. And
I think it got delayed specifically for the Scorpio. I think they decided, hey, the Scorpio's coming. Hey, people want a single player experience. There's some things we can do inside that single player experience, or there's some things that we can do in the online that we can't do in the single player experience. We need something that is a known quantity for our first party to launch this thing,
yeah, for sure. For sure.
because Halo isn't ready.
No, apparently not. One would have thought that that would be the perfect way to launch your console, but one can dream.
Wow.
Anyway, Crackdown 3, I still think it's a little concerning that they didn't really showcase that, but maybe the showcase was Terry Crews, and this thing's got a character and a story, and boom, boom.
Well, Terry's in the game,
Yeah. Yep.
so
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Are you picking this one up? Does it interest you enough to try?
I mean, I liked the first one. The second one I thought was a pile of dog crap, but
Yeah.
I remember playing a lot of the demo for the first one, so I didn't actually pick the first one up. But yeah, I'd pick this up. I don't know if I'd pick it up at $60. I mean, $39.99.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure Crackdown's for me, but then again, I'll have the itch to have a nice new shiny title on my Xbox One X come November. But yeah, so another big exclusive game for them. Maybe just not for me.
Maybe. I mean, not every game is, I guess, meant for each one of us. We all have our
Nope,
own
nope, nope.
tastes.
Yeah, so then Microsoft went on to show some indie titles, one of which, and now the name, of course, has escaped me as I'm beginning to talk about it, that pixel art one that
That
we
had the
were.
great lighting.
Yes,
The Last Night.
The Last Night. Thank you very much. They showed The Last Night, which normally, I gotta be honest with you, I am totally not into these 2D sprite-based games that they're making these days. They're just not for me. But the aesthetic of this one is just unbelievable. The lighting, the backgrounds, the art. It looked like a Blade Runner-esque kind of game. Oh my god, I don't know. Very interested in it. It looks fascinating, I guess is the word.
It it has a very modern background look to it, and then a very like 16-bit or NES foreground like aesthetic.
Yeah, it's the art style and direction is just very interesting.
Oh, absolutely. I don't know. There's some controversy surrounding that game. I'm not quite sure. Some people have some issues with that game for whatever reason. I don't know if you really want to talk about that here.
Um, well, we can kind of touch on it briefly. We're already been live for 1 hour and 11 minutes, and we're only on press conference too. But
Right.
yeah, the gentleman who created this game was involved in the Gamergate scandal of, I believe, last year.
Was that? No, that was
Or
more
was
than.
it early? No, was it longer ago?
That was several years ago. That was like 2014.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, anyways, he had made some comments or whatnot, and I actually did read his comments, and this is all a matter of opinion and politics and all that stuff, which I don't necessarily think belong in games in a certain degree. Um,
Hmm.
eh, to me personally, I this isn't gonna affect what I think of the game or if I purchase it or not, and that's me personally.
You and I agree with one another.
Art is art, regardless who makes it. If you have a problem with them, then don't don't buy the game. That's totally your opinion, totally your choice, and that is fine. Everyone is just fine. So there's that. But
Yeah.
I think the game looks phenomenal. No idea what the story is, but it just looks freaking neat. So that's on my radar for sure. They showed off some other indie titles that I can't remember the names of that weren't for me, but they looked neat.
Hey, Cuphead's got a date.
Cuphead has a date. Yes, believe it's when is that again? November, September?
September 27th, I think.
Okay, so it's this year, finally. People have been waiting for this damn game to come out, and Microsoft's been touting it for years now, and it hasn't came out. Has there ever been so much buzz on such a small title before?
I, oh, No Man's Sky.
Yep, touche. Touche, yes. But Cuphead, the art style is phenomenal. That old school Steamboat Willie aesthetic, the old cartoon aesthetic, really neat.
I'll pick that
Probably
up and try it. Why not?
you will.
Yeah, what the hell?
I don't know. I don't think it's my thing, but I totally appreciate the art and hard work that went into that thing. So that's
I'm at the
finally coming
point.
out.
I'm at the point I want to try different things. Like, I mean, I've been gaming since like 1988.
Way to date
Uh,
yourself.
yeah, I mean, I think my hair does that by itself. Um, so, I've been gaming for a long time, and over the years there have been changes because of different graphical upgrades and whatnot. Like, I mean, it was a pretty big game changer when we went from 2D to 3D, and I don't know. As I said, I just kind of I'm eager for different experiences. So, as I said, I'm kind of trying to get more into games that I maybe wouldn't have otherwise played.
Yep.
Say in the last few years, a friend of mine introduced me to Gone Home. Gone Home being a very indie title.
Yeah.
The creator is currently making Tacoma.
Yep.
Gone Home was an amazing game. Like, I mean, I think it took me 6 hours to get through it, maybe a little bit longer than that, roughly. I love that game. I mean, there's no action, no killing, no nothing, but it's a fantastic experience, and I guess that's what I'm looking for, different experiences.
Yeah. No. To kind of play off what you just said, I'm in total agreement with you about trying new things. Knowing what you like is fine, and just buying 3 games a year that you like, totally fine for some people. But I also wanted to try new things, so I tried picked up Firewatch, for example, in a Steam sale this past summer. Or was it winter? It was the winter sale.
Yeah, that was the last one.
I got Firewatch, and typically not my thing. It's like a walking simulator, if you will, but the story and the feeling that was in that game was amazing, and it was an experience. I think it was only like 4 to 6 hours long, so wasn't overly long, but again, that doesn't need to be. And for that experience, I think that game was perfect in a way for what it was. So you don't always need content when you're paying for a game. Sometimes it's nice to just buy a game and just enjoy the experience you got with it. So, yeah. So to that point, Microsoft showed off a lot of these smaller games that again might not be for everyone, but they might be amazing experiences.
So just to run through a few more of those real quickly.
Yeah.
You had the Darwin Project.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of that?
Next.
Really? Okay. Let's see. What was the next one? It was it was the one with the ogres and the spiders. It was like Minecraft Minecraft-esque.
Oh God, the one with the dwarves.
Yes.
Oh God. Yeah,
Okay.
I have no idea. That's for
All right.
again. That's for someone. I'm poo-pooing it, but it's just I'm poo-pooing it for my own personal
Taste.
taste. Yeah, there you go. I do not like
Well-
Minecraft. I think Minecraft's pointless and dumb. But
So you
I'm
weren't big on the Minecraft 4K super over double texture pack.
no,
with
I
shit
wasn't
on-
up on it and down on it. Why would you want to make a purposefully ugly game pretty? It seems like a waste. But I mean, they got the new console. Got to show off some cool stuff. So they own the property. It's up to them.
I'm trying to think what else they showed as I can't think of anything else at the moment, but those are the other two like indie things that really popped to my mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure those will be popular, but it just didn't interest me. Yep. So, they showed a lot of games, right?
They did a lot of
Sure.
games, 42 games.
They were very specific about how many games they showed and about how many of them were console exclusive or exclusive entirely. That was a
They
focal
had
point.
what was it? They had 3 different nomenclatures. There was console launch exclusive, world exclusive, and Windows 10 or Xbox One, Windows 10 exclusive.
There you go. So the key word was exclusive, because they have been knocked recently for not having as many exclusives, which I agree with. However, I don't think their competition had much in the way of exclusive either.
Well, I mean, it's funny nomenclature. Phil talked a little bit about it with GameSpot after the fact, where world exclusive, of course, means we're just showing it here first. The The console exclusive means that it's going to launch on the Xbox One platform first, meaning that will come to other consoles, but it's going to be here first, and then
Right.
Xbox One Windows 10 exclusive, meaning that it would only be on Xbox One and Windows 10. Those were more few and far between.
Yeah. Yep. So then old Phil Dog comes marching back out. Kind of wraps the show up.
Did you just call him Phil Dog?
Sure did.
Okay.
Old Phil Dog comes out, wraps up the show, kind of. Basically says, hey, we've had, 42 freaking games out here. They're sick. You're going to play them on the old Xbox One X. And then you just casually slipped it in for $4.99 and then quickly moved along.
You sure did.
On November 7th, right?
Yep, November 7th.
So, yeah, so the price we need to talk about. The price of the Xbox One X. Phil Pachter, you're wrong. It was not $3.99.
Michael Pachter.
Michael Pachter, sorry, I've got Phil on the brain here. Michael Pachter, you were wrong. It is not $3.99. It is $4.99. Now, I don't know if you have this recorded on any of your videos on your channels, but we got to give credit where credit is due. Our buddy Armand here did, in fact, that was his original prediction, was $4.99. So there you go, man. You nailed it. $4.99.
I think, I mean, I don't know if I said it in previous videos. I know in our specific E3 predictions videos, like when you and Chris were saying, it's got to be $3.99, it's got to be $3.99. Like I felt a little pressured to come down from my $4.99 perch, so I said $4.49 instead. I wish I had stuck to my guns and said $4.99 in those videos.
Yes, you should have, because $4.49 is just simply ridiculous. That 99 just sounds good, brother. It's got to be 99 something.
Right. Well, I mean, we've seen stuff at $4.49 before, so it's not completely insane. But yeah, I wish I'd stuck to my guns and said that in the E3 videos. Had a buddy of ours kind of pick on me. He's like, you didn't say in that video, it doesn't count. So you're wrong.
That's true. Well, I remember you saying it initially, so I'll give you props.
Oh, thank you.
My prediction, of course, was $3.99. I agreed that price point needed to be 100% needed to be where they needed to be at to compete with Sony and possibly gain some of that ground back this generation. But that being said, I was wrong. It is $4.99. It's $100 more than I anticipated. But when you look at it from the perspective of a piece of technology, what you're getting in that box for $499 is by far worth it. You are getting a UHD Blu-ray player. Granted, the Xbox One S already has one. However, it still counts. You're getting
Yeah, it sure does.
You're getting a liquid-cooled piece of hardware. You're getting a console that's 40% more powerful than the others out there. Okay?
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah, it is worth $4.99. Would you pay $100 to have a console 40% more powerful than the other one? Would you pay a $100 premium and also get a UHD Blu-ray player just thrown in?
Of course. I mean, come on. Even low-end UHD Blu-ray player by itself at this point, I think, is like $200 to $250.
Yeah, it's anywhere from $200 to $300 for your base UHD Blu-ray player.
Yeah.
What you're getting here is totally worth the price that they're asking. But from a business standpoint, I don't think that is what they should have done. And now that E3's over and some more news has come out, we've found out that they're selling the Xbox One X at a loss at $4.99.
Well, that's somewhat kind of hearsay. I mean, they haven't come out directly and said we're selling this thing at a loss. They are saying that, I mean, they are alluding that it is maybe somewhat of a loss, or pretty much close to cost. I mean, they because they kind of did draw a Nintendo Wii U example. Now, if you remember with the Wii U, it broke even if they sold one game.
Oh, yeah.
So,
So we don't. Yeah, it hasn't officially been confirmed, of course, like you said, and we don't know the extent of the loss if they are selling at a loss. I'm inclined to believe that that's probably true, based off from what we're getting in that box and comparing it to a PC with similar specifications.
mhm.
So I
That's-
wouldn't be surprised.
So, I mean, this is one thing, and this is an article over on WCCF Tech, and I mean, I'm just going to read the headline. And this was posted about 10 hours ago. Microsoft, we wouldn't have been able to usher in true 4K by pricing Xbox One X at $399. Because during E3, Phil Spencer talked a lot about how that they tried to do the best that they could to match the technology to the price point. And I had talked a lot about this during our E3 discussions. When it comes to the pricing of the Xbox, you know, the company's going to try and get as close to break even as possible. And for a certain price point, shove in the most advanced technology that they can for what they think that they can charge for it. For the video game market, once again, I feel that $599, a $600 console, that's suicide. You can't do it. Nobody will buy that. So that kind of limits them to $499 and below, and because of that, you really have to make, of course, some compromises. I mean, Ibarra in that article, because I read it earlier, said, well, yeah, we could have done $399, but if we did $399, we would have had to underclock chips, and then we could have gotten rid of the liquid cooled vapor chamber.
And that's just it, you know? They could have done it, but they chose not to. And again, the price that they're asking is not crazy. In fact, it's good. It is a good price for the piece of technology you are buying. So, to all the haters out there, just don't buy it then.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. If you think it's too expensive, that's fine. But someone who knows something about this type of stuff has to tell you that that is a fair price. Now,
Oh, yeah, I'd completely agree with that.
that's from a consumer standpoint. Now, from a business standpoint, however, again, to touch on it, I don't think that that's a good price for them. I don't think that this is going to sell particularly well. I think it's going to sell better than the PS4 Pro. Do I think it's going to sell much better? Maybe not.
No, probably not.
And that's just the territory that we're in here. It's uncharted territory, the half-step console. This is the first time we've truly seen this, and it's obviously not a hit. It just isn't.
I mean, I don't know, and I haven't made this video yet. I've been kind of debating how I want to frame this, but even though Microsoft's calling it a half step, considering the fact that it is, you know, almost 3x the power of the original Xbox One, and I think I figured it around 6 teraflops to 1.8 teraflops. It's like 70%.
It's totally generational leap.
It is a generational leap. So guess what, my friend? Welcome to Generation 9.
Yeah.
Even though they're not calling it that, welcome to Generation 9.
I definitely disagree with you, but that's a whole nother video. And again, it's just we're in uncharted territory. Yeah, you drink that, baby. Pound that. Pound that juice. Get fired up, baby. Woo! Yeah. So, again, we're in uncharted territory here. This has never truly been done before. We've never seen it in the industry before.
I mean, I look at these pros consoles as a full system hardware equivalent to an add-on.
Absolutely. You could look at it that way. But then again, we don't know what the future holds. Is this going to be a mainstay? Are we continually going to get these iteration every 3 to 4 years? Maybe.
I mean, if we do, then I think these companies need to work on phasing out the old product.
Well,
I mean, at some point, you're going to get to, like, because even say in 3 years, right?
Mhm.
They introduce the next half step. Um, at some point, you're going to have to phase out the old hardware and make the new baseline the whatever that next half step was above. I
It,
mean, we do this in computer gaming as well. I mean, it eventually happens that hardware is no longer able to run something.
yeah, yeah, it's true. And to that point, that's kind of why I think your theory might be a little wrong. But
I mean,
but
it is and
we'll,
it isn't. I
we'll,
mean,
we'll, we don't know. We don't know. We won't touch on that right now. We're already going long, and that is a whole nother discussion. Um, but yeah, to close out Microsoft's show, I believe they closed with it. Now I'm becoming foggy.
yes,
But
they did. If I think I know where you're going, yes, they did. They
yeah,
closed
with
with this.
Anthem.
Yep.
Yeah. So we finally got the promised BioWare title on the Microsoft stage. We found out more about it, I guess, in the sense of what you're doing as far as gameplay. Now, before I said I was down on that initial little snippet, but once they showed the gameplay, I was
Boy, were you wrong.
woo! That was impressive. Um, the graphics right off the bat, I was blown away because I was expecting your typical looking BioWare graphical looking game in the vein of Mass Effect or Dragon Age. I was expecting something similar to that, and it's not. It doesn't
I
even look
mean,
like those.
not Origin, sorry. Inquisition and Andromeda were not bad looking games. I mean, not they. No,
No,
don't get me wrong. They weren't anywhere in the same ballpark as this thing, but they're not bad looking games.
no, that's my point. My point is I was expecting them to stick with their signature style, and this looks completely different, and in a good way. It looks graphically phenomenal, absolutely top tier. And you start out in this like little hub world thing. We don't even know the story, but they just kind of
I
touched
don't
on it.
even.
You're in,
I don't even care at this point. I just want to play it.
yeah, I don't either. It looks great. You're like in first person mode, and I'm texting you during the conference. I was like, "Oh shit, is BioWare making a first person shooter? Sick!" And then you kind of hop in your little mech thing, and we find out I was dumb. They are definitely not doing that. Of course, they're making a third person game. Um, and then you hop in your suit and you fly around like freaking Iron Man.
I know that's so
And
awesome.
I was like, oh, jeez. So he's cruising around. They find this giant Rancor-looking creature thing. That was sick. And then we find out what the combat's gonna look like. They find this group of these look like mercenaries or whatever, and he unleashes like again an Iron Man missile barrage.
Right?
Oh my God, was that sick?
So this is one thing I want to bring up that
Yep.
I found interesting. And once again, we always talk about the scope of the world.
Mm.
Um, the two players, one of them says, "You go high, I'll go low," and then they just fly right down through the water. Like, I
Yep.
mean, and it's like you found such and such a trench. I mean, like, oh, so there's going to be a world under the world.
Right. It's layered. It's atmospheric. It's open. It's and after you kill those guys, you kind of figure out where I was gonna go with that comment and just cut myself off. You pick up some loot. Oh, you found some gear. This game is out destinying Destiny.
Right?
So it seems. Because
If
it
it's
looks.
got if it has some of the BioWare narrative stuff in it,
Oh,
psst,
not even close. Not even close. It will smoke Destiny. Bungie's got a great team and stuff like that, but when you're talking story, there's no comparison. If you have, even if they have 50% of the story that a normal BioWare game has in this thing, it would still blow Destiny out of the water.
uh,
So
yeah.
this is supremely exciting. Um, if you couldn't tell already, I'm pretty excited for it. So I can't wait to find out more. Um, it left a lot on the table as far as guessing what the heck this world is. What's the story? So exciting.
And if I remember correctly, I think that said 2018 as well. Although I wouldn't be surprised if that doesn't slip into 19. But
I actually believe them when they say 2018, only because it's the main team, and I know they've been working on it for quite some time. So,
well, I was gonna say because it was BioWare Montreal that did Andromeda. So this team would have
they're
started
all
working
dead
on
now.
what's that?
I said they're all dead now. I meant, not really.
Oh, the Andromeda team. Yeah.
That was a joke.
Um, those poor guys.
I know.
Um, and girls. Just those poor people. So these folks have been working on this game since the end of Mass Effect 3, which was what, 13? No, 11?
Oh boy. Somewhere's around there. I would have to look it up, but
I'll look it up when you're talking.
They have had a bit of time. Well, who did Inquisitions?
Good question.
I wasn't that the main team?
I don't remember.
Oh God, I don't either. We're bad.
I wish I did remember. Let's see here. Casey Hudson. This is Mass Effect 3. Casey Hudson was the director. Does it actually subdivide the BioWares? I doubt it. And I know Casey Hudson's left the company.
Yeah.
I don't think it actually says. Yeah, of course they don't divide that out. Let me just check one other thing real quick.
All right. This is great TV for y'all.
Right? I know. I'm so sorry, everybody. My dearest, sincerest apologies for being.
It's very,
weird.
very heartfelt.
Yeah, no, it doesn't divide that out on which BioWare team did what. I mean, I'm sure if I were to actually go and read down through some of the comments, it might, but at this time, it certainly doesn't.
Well, regardless, they've had years to make this thing, so I wouldn't be surprised if it actually did make it out. But again, I also would not be shocked if it got delayed. So, but are you excited for it as much as I'm excited for it? Sounds like.
Oh
it.
yeah, I want to play this thing.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Now the question with that one, of course, will be again: Xbox One X, PS4 Pro, or PC?
Oh, that's a tough one.
I know, right?
That is a very tough one.
I can tell you one thing, based off from how optimized Mass Effect Andromeda was for PC, I might actually be inclined to buy this on the Xbox One X.
Well, this is the A team versus the B team, and I hate to call BioWare Montreal the B team. I mean, I guess I would have a little more faith in this. And what? And this is. Oh wait, no. I'm sorry. I thought that said Q1 first. So this is projected to be Q4 2018. So
Dangerous territory, definitely could get pushed.
well, Q4 2018 is that January to March 2019 timeframe.
Oh, right, yeah, fiscal year. So, yeah. So we're looking at a little while.
Yeah, so it might even miss Christmas next year. I mean,
That's you know
based
what?
upon this projection.
That's probably a good thing for this game.
I think the original Mass Effect came out in like March
Yep.
of 7.
I believe Mass Effect 2 either came out in March or April. I think it was March.
So that seems to be their time frame.
Yep, and they have done well in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Microsoft wrapped the conference like that. Overall, I thought they had a very, very strong conference. Was it their best one ever? No. Was it their worst one ever? Absolutely not. It was solid. They showed plenty of games. They had plenty of exclusive games, albeit not all of them for myself. But
I'm gonna play quite a few of them. That's for sure.
yeah, I honestly, I was very impressed with what they showed. I was happy to finally learn all the official specifications for the Xbox One X and officially know the release date and officially know the price. Even though it's $100 more than I personally thought it should be, I am not mad at the price tag. I think it's totally justified, and I will be buying one.
Because I'm a moron and I believe that we need competition and everything. I'm gonna buy two.
Oh, God, he's going to buy two. Look at that.
Trading in an Xbox One S to subsidize the price of one of them, though.
Whew, look at this guy. Money bags over here. Oh,
I didn't say
one.
all at once. I just said I'm gonna buy two.
Yeah, so that wraps up Microsoft. Anything else you'd like to add to this one?
I honestly, I say that they stole the show. I mean, without talking about anybody else, I think they were the most impressive.
I agree. Yeah, so that is Microsoft. So, moving right along from a conference that we both very much enjoyed to a conference that we both very much hated.
Why? Why did they do it?
Bethesda took the stage Sunday night, came out, and what a dog turd of
Oh,
of
boy,
a
yeah.
freaking conference. Why did they even
could've-
bother? But I know the answer to that because they set the precedence by having it for the past 2 years. I think it was 2 years. Or 1 year.
I thought this is the second one.
All right, so now they're almost expected to have one. And I got to be honest with you, they don't have enough properties for me to justify having one every year. They're just not big enough. Yes, they've got this year. Okay, let's just go quickly what they ran through here. Dishonored. Okay. Awesome. It's a phenomenal series, but it sells very poorly. They talked about VR with Doom and Fallout. Again, you're speaking to an audience that is about this big compared to the masses. You're not getting through to anyone there.
No.
Although it's cool. What they showed is cool.
Oh yeah, it's cool, but I mean, come on.
And The Evil Within 2 they showed. The first one was a very mediocre game by a lot of accounts. Didn't also particularly set the world on fire sales-wise. And here's the sequel. Now, the trailer that they showed looked creepy and very interesting. I'll give them that.
Kind of had that Resident Evil vibe to it.
It did. It did. I'm definitely not mad at it. That's for sure. But I didn't play the first one, and I don't know that I have the interest to. And then, of course, the big thing, Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus, which a lot of people, games media-wise, are all about the first remake of, or continuation of Wolfenstein here, and are also super excited for this one. I've played a decent amount of the first one to know that it was a, for me, good, not great shooter. And this one looks to be better, but I don't know that I need to buy it.
I mean, once again, it may not be one of those full price deals. It may be, a discount.
The new Wolfenstein one? No, that for sure.
No. I'm saying when I would personally buy it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I'm sorry. I thought you meant it won't launch at full price. I was like, are you nuts? I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, it may not be something I would buy at full price, but I would eventually pick it up.
Yeah, I would probably get this on PC and a Steam sale in 3 years. So to my point, these titles are big names per se, but they're not Fallouts. They're not Elder Scrolls
I
mainline
mean,
series games. Don't have a they just honestly they just shouldn't have bothered. It was
they could
so
have
bad.
Nintendo directed it.
Yes, absolutely. They had the whole stage, and what they showed was just so underwhelming to me. Why even bother? I don't know. I just thought it was a waste of my time, and unfortunately, theirs too.
I feel like that they could have done a slightly deeper dive into Wolfenstein. I mean, you of course you can't do as deep of a dive as you did into Fallout 4 last year, but you could have done something, talking about different weapons. Or I mean, they talked a little bit about the story. I mean, and how it's going to be kind of insane. Some guy fighting Nazis tripping on LSD. Um, so I mean, of course, that's interesting, but it doesn't fill a conference. I mean, and this is the thing, and this, of course, this was the rumor, and I think Bethesda saw the rumor and they decided to play with us. Do you notice how the backdrop for the Bethesda event was stars?
Mm, hmm.
And so the rumored game that is to be coming out is Starfield, which is supposed to be a Todd Howard project, supposedly.
Interesting.
Elder Scrolls in Space, as what some people have claimed it to be. They did that with their backdrop, but they didn't actually show the game. They didn't announce the game. They didn't do anything with that game.
Interesting. You really think they'd have him do that? Interesting.
So, I mean, I don't know if that's something that we're going to see next year. And if we do see that next year, then that means that, because everybody's still asking for Elder Scrolls 6, and they're saying that's not even in pre-pro. It means we won't see an Elder Scrolls 6 until sometime in the next decade.
That's extremely sad. Because if I see one more thing to do with Skyrim, I'm going to put my freaking face through a plate glass window. I'm so over it. My God, let Skyrim die. Let it die in the past. It was a great game. Definitely not the best Elder Scrolls game like most people think. You're crazy. Oblivion was better.
I wish they would do it. I mean, if they had to remaster anything, I would have taken a remaster of Oblivion.
Hell yeah. I don't want Skyrim in VR. I don't want Skyrim on a Nintendo Switch. We didn't need the remaster on these new consoles. Just stop. Bethesda.
No, I mean, the only reason I accept the remaster on these consoles is they really did it as a technical exercise to see about getting Fallout running.
I understand why they did it from a business perspective. And I'm an idiot, and I bought the thing and played it all over again.
Yeah, so did I.
I got it for extremely cheap on a holiday Best Buy sale. I think I paid like $10 for it with some promo, but and that was only because I needed to pick a game to fill the promo. It was like buy two get one free or something.
I got it free on PC.
There you go, because you had all the expansions and stuff, so you got it for free. But yeah, I'm done talking about this game because that's how sick of I am of seeing it. It is 2017. It is time for us to move on from Skyrim. Okay, people? Right. Listen to me. Let us move on from Skyrim. There's better games out there. Let's do it.
Because 11, 11, 11.
Oh, oh, God. Yeah. 6 years later, we're still talking about this stupid game. Anyway, that's my rant. Bethesda, please stop doing press conferences unless you have Elder Scrolls or Fallout to release. Otherwise, I will not be watching in the future. And I will just be reading quick little articles about what you did because it was just a waste of my time.
Right. So, what do you think of Creators Club?
I don't even remember what that is. Oh, is that the paid mod thing?
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah. Don't even get me started on that.
So, I'm of two minds about the paid mod stuff. I think creators should get some funding, but I don't necessarily want to pay a whole lot for an add-on to a game. And once again, it depends how big it is. what I would think would be cool. I mean, this of course is just my own perspective.
Hmm.
Is I'm sure you're aware of Sky Oblivion or Skywind.
Yep.
Okay. So, like, if Bethesda actually allowed these teams to put these mods into the creation service, and then, I don't know, for something like that, considering you're using the Skyrim engine, which is something Bethesda built, you're charging 19.99 for it. Bethesda gets a cut, the creator gets a cut because they made a whole bunch of money on it, and everybody kind of is happy. I mean, for something like that, considering the scope and everything that I could get behind that for paid mod stuff.
Um, yeah, I don't, I don't even know. I could care less about mods. Um, I don't see a need for them. I know people love them and yada yada. I don't know. When I'm playing a game, I'm playing it when it comes out, okay? And I play what the game was intended to do. I'm not a mod person, so this I could care less either way. If I had to kind of side one side or the other, I would side with the creators of the mods, and giving them the funding. Uh, I don't know, but it's kind of like PC software, right? That you can donate money for. I kind of
Well,
look at
yeah,
it
I
like
mean,
that.
you could do Patreons. I mean, you got to be careful because of U.S. copyright laws and whatnot. Like, you can't make money off from somebody else's intellectual property. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, and that's why you have what we have here. But to me, it's a non-conversation for me personally because I don't use them. But I see both sides, and that's a thing. And of course, Bethesda, with filler, had to put it in a conference.
right?
So, that wraps Bethesda, unless you have anything exciting to add from them.
No, it's nothing. Let's just move on.
Yeah, let's please
All
just.
I'm saying is give me Wolfenstein and let's move on.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh god, Ubisoft is up next, huh? I
UB.
Ubisoft coming up next, coming at you hot. I got to be perfectly honest with everyone. I
Oh,
have.
oh,
Uh-oh,
oh.
you spill
Apparently I
your
was
Dr.
pulled.
Pepper?
Oh, hold on. There we go.
Jeez, quit
Sorry.
breaking stuff.
Sometimes things fall out.
I'm making an O face right now. Okay, so Ubisoft was up next on Monday. Um, wow. I got to be honest with you. I half paid attention during Ubisoft's conference, which sounds like was a mistake because a lot of people loved what they showed off.
They're
Um,
very professional about it this year. I mean,
yes, no Aisha Tyler, no goofy people in costumes in the crowd pretending to be an assassin and them interviewing them and it be really stupid. Um, yeah, it was. It had a more professional air about it,
I'm wondering if
and
that has something to do with the fact that Viacom owns a good piece of them now. Or Vivendi.
Vivendi, yeah,
Yeah.
Vivendi, yeah. No, I don't think so because they don't have any control yet, to my knowledge. They're certainly working on that and completely taking them over, but
Well, I'm sure they have input. I'm sure they have
oh
input.
yeah, of course, of course, of course. Yeah. So let's touch on again. I don't have a ton of insight, and I'm sorry because I didn't truly pay attention to during this one. It's the only one that I was doing something else while I was watching. So I'm gonna try my best to touch on these things. Um,
For shame.
yeah, it's a shame. Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. We have a pairing. This is weird between Nintendo and Ubisoft.
Which is cool.
I love it. I think that's really neat. I'm glad these two have come together to create something. You've got the crazy rabbits that Ubisoft owns, and you got Mario. Let's put them
Right?
together in a game, and it looks awesome. It looks like an XCOM game with Mario and rabbits. It's
Yeah, and that's part of the best thing. I
it's
mean,
it's just neat, man. Am I gonna play it? I don't know. It's kind of cool. Um, yeah, and the guy who made the game, right? Who came up with the idea,
hmm
he had like tears in his eyes when he was like talking about the thing. Or was he in the crowd? I can't remember. But anyways, he was like tearing up over it. So it's kind of cool, like the emotion behind it. Like his idea got made, like this crazy zany idea of these two worlds coming together, and he
right?
finally got to make it a thing that he created. I don't know. I found that kind of endearing.
I mean, it's a Switch game. I mean, there's not a lot on the Switch. I mean, there's some stuff, but I'll buy it. I mean, it gives me something else for my Switch.
Yeah, yeah, it's very cool. Very cool. I know my stepson would totally be into playing something like this as he loves Mario, and I'm sure he would think those rabbits are pretty funny.
I, yeah, I got no comment on the rabbits.
Yeah, me either, really. It just seemed goofy and kind of like minion-esque characters, which, yeah. Anyway, it looks cool. I'm
Yeah.
glad this is a thing. I'm glad there's collaboration like that. This is good. That's a good thing. They also touched on Far Cry 5, of course, one of their flagship titles. Um, I I wasn't paying attention during this part, which is kind of messed up because I was excited for this. But the more I hear and see of this game, the more I realize I think this is just another Far Cry game, and I'm not sure I want to play it.
I mean, it's gonna be Far Cry in America.
It is true. The setting's cool, but unlike Assassin's Creed Origins, the setting I don't know will be enough for me to give it my $60.
Once
Um,
again, it could be a discounted purchase, but I mean, it's I don't know. It's a funny thing, and I don't necessarily mean to reference another YouTuber here, but Boogie 2988, he come out and did a video just basically saying everybody's talking about the controversy, Far Cry 5, the controversy. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Nobody
It's a game.
cares. It is a
It's
game.
fake. I
Now
mean,
they have their opportunity to take it to the next level, and it doesn't look at all like they did that. So that kind of really disappointed me to see that you create your character. I think for the first time in the series.
yep.
Nope. They lost me there. What I thought they were gonna do was again the movie Get Out, dealing with race and almost cultish type thing. I really thought they had the opportunity to truly make something controversial and extremely interesting, and it's just Far Cry. And
I mean, supposedly some of that, I guess, is going to be there because the guy who wrote this also wrote Bioshock Infinite.
mhm.
So, I mean, they do play with race somewhat in that game. So, I mean, it's possible that you could
it,
still play with it.
yeah, I'm sure it hints at it, but I don't know. My interest level of this one has gone way downhill. Um, yeah, of course, Assassin's Creed Origins. We got a much deeper look at that on Ubisoft stage, showing the mechanics of the RPG elements, the combat. After watching what they showed, I did realize this is obviously going to be an Assassin's Creed game. It's not going to be truly groundbreaking in the way of something totally different in the universe. Um, but I think the year off was enough for them to really add some new, fresh things to an already established quantity. And
Maybe it'd be a year off to make sure it doesn't have jank.
oh, that'd be great if they didn't have jank for the first time ever. People with no faces and stuff like that. Remember that?
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, it's a modern video game, so I mean, it'll still have jank, but maybe not like
No, I know.
epic amounts of it.
Exactly. Again, we've kind of talked Assassin's Creed Origins to death. Um, we're both excited. Yeah?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so then they touched on a new title, Skull and Bones. It's
Yep.
Ubisoft's open world multiplayer pirate game. Basically,
Yeah.
they knew people loved the ship combat from Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Well, Assassin's Creed 3 really is where they introduced it, but really went into a deep dive with it with Assassin's Creed Black Flag, obviously. Um, and now that that setting for Assassin's Creed doesn't exactly play with ship combat, why not come out with a game, use all these assets to create your own title with Skull and Bones?
Which is supposedly what they did. A lot of it is Far Cry. Far Cry. Jeez, I did that again. Um, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag assets.
Yep. I mean, I don't blame them. People love that part of the game, so why not create a whole game based around that specifically?
Yeah, I mean, I think even a lot of game journalists suggested that like many years ago after
Yeah.
Black Flag came out.
Well, a lot of people loved it, so why not? Yeah, so definitely keep your eyes open on that. Looks pretty interesting. And then, of course, the biggest. Well, okay, well, I'll save that one. The Crew 2, Ubisoft's racing game, um,
Great.
added bikes, boats, and planes to the mix, yada yada. And I don't care. Yeah, the biggest news, Ubisoft obviously Beyond Good and Evil 2 revealed after years and years and years and years and years.
And we could still be going for years and years
Abs-
and years.
Absolutely, because they had the zero gameplay, anything like that. I don't know how much of this actually exists, but finally got the green light, and all of you out there who loved the first one, you're gonna get a second one. Totally different in tone than the first one, from what I could tell. I wasn't a huge fan of the first one. Thought it was neat. This trailer they showed, they're dropping f bombs and all this stuff. I do not remember that from the first game at all. Um,
I mean, I didn't play the first game. I mean, this is the second technical teaser trailer that we've had for this. Oh, geez, what E3 was it?
it was a
Oh, I
long
don't
time
know.
ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago where they did a teaser for Beyond Good and Evil 2, and then nothing materialized for like a decade.
It died.
So,
Yeah.
so here is teaser trailer number 2. The developer has said, "Yeah, we went through hell with this thing. We think we finally got it now, and let's just hope it's not a decade before we either see a game or another teaser trailer for the game."
Yeah, yeah, let's hope not. And again, to touch on it again, Michel Ancel, the guy who created this stuff, was up on stage, and he was he as well was crying, like announcing this game, like it's means so much to him that he could, actually make this a thing now to put out for everyone. And again, to touch on the whole Vivendi thing, maybe the emotional state of the conference was kind of directly correlated with the imminent corporate takeover and them trying to greenlight all these projects that they're passionate about before this inevitable takeover. And basically, we're definitely getting Assassin's Creed every year forever after that. So
Yeah.
maybe
Al-
that's got something to do with it.
Although I do really hope that with the Assassin's Creed stuff, they kind of go into a alternating shift with Watch Dogs for that, so it's not necessarily Assassin's Creed every year. It's maybe every other year.
Why not both every year? Says Vivendi. Make it happen.
Uh,
Um, yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. Anyway, so maybe the emotional aspects of the conference were attributed to that coming down the pike. Yeah, Ubisoft, from what I saw, okay conference. A lot of the games journalist articles I read out there pretty much thought Ubisoft stole the show from anyone, Microsoft, Sony, anyone. They had the best conference. From what I saw, I don't think so personally, but again, I was half paying attention during this one, unfortunately. So
I mean, I think a lot of it comes from the fact is not so much it was the best conference, but it definitely certainly was the most improved over years past.
I agree. Yep, for sure.
One quick thing I want to touch on before we move on. The fractured butt hole
Oh my god, I
uh,
missed
has
that.
has a release date.
How dumb of me. Probably because they've showed it for like 3 3s. Yes, we got the release date.
Is that October 27th?
Is it actually going to hit it this time? Because they've had release dates in the past.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's October 17th is what they're saying.
You got to think it's Trey and Matt again.
Well, I mean, even the first one went through several delays. So, I mean, I think by the third or fourth delay, that's when they finally hit the thing. I mean, or hit the release date.
Yeah.
I know with that first game, they just said the quality wasn't there and they weren't going to release a piece of crap.
Exactly.
So,
And they're notorious, of course, for, going back and, no, we got to get it right. We got to get it right. We got to get it right. Let's change this. Let's change this. So in the show, it's one thing. With a video game, that's totally different. So yeah, hopefully we actually get to see that soon. The first one was hilarious.
I didn't play it. I don't even know if I own it.
Oh, you should, because it is. Oh my God, what a gem that was.
I mean, let's put it this way: would I need to watch South Park to understand?
Oh God, yeah.
Oh, then it's not worth it for me then.
I mean, it would still be funny regardless, but there's so many inside jokes, so many small characters from the show, like just popping up in certain scenes. It was an awesome game.
I mean, outside of Timmy, I don't know.
Churra!
Starlink Battle for Atlas.
Oh God.
The Toys to Light. No, okay, all right, moving on.
Toys.
Steep Road to the Olympics.
Nope.
Okay.
Skip. No one cares.
Let's see. Oh yeah, last but not least, and I know this is your favorite. Just Dance 2018.
Oh my God! Please no. Burn it with fire.
Okay. We are done with. We're done with Ubisoft now.
With the exception of South Park, if I'm skipping over something, it's probably for a good reason. But Please keep bringing it up because I miss South Park, and that was dumb of me because I'm excited for that game. All right, so that was Ubisoft. They did a good job. Not my personal favorite, but solid. So then, Monday night, what would Sony's rebuttal be to Microsoft's extremely solid press conference?
Technical issues. Oh.
Boy, Sony's conference. I'm split down the middle on this, okay?
I'm not split.
Well, hang on. Let me explain why I'm split.
Okay.
Because there are 4 titles that they showed that are some of my most anticipated games of next year.
Okay.
Oh, and this year, actually, with one of them.
Sure.
Sony. Boy, I thought that was a really overall bad conference. I'm not saying the games were bad. I'm not saying what they showed was bad. A lot of it was exciting as hell. But the conference, I thought, was garbage. You fell asleep.
I did, but in my defense, I had been up like, 26 hours at that point.
That's beside the point. You fell asleep because it was so bad. No. I was pretty disappointed with how they presented everything. Um, yeah, really. I mean, they didn't have really any personality on stage. Um, I mean, I guess they did the right thing in some aspects of just being like, hey, here's some games. Hey, and then they come back out after they show them all. Boy, 60 minutes went by. Crazy, huh? Like, trying to make these cheesy jokes. I was like, shut up. It's so bad. But so let's touch on what they did show actually. Okay.
Okay.
They showed Monster Hunter World. Of course, we were both watching it at the same time. I was messaging you, being like, "What is this? Is this Monster Hunter? Did they get that back again?" Like, because the past few Monster Hunters have been like 3DS games and stuff. So,
Right. I think
uh,
there's even a Monster Hunter for the Switch.
yeah, I think that was just announced though.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
Um,
Spoiler.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, so Monster Hunter World. I don't know if it's going to be like an MMO or shared open
That's
world or what the hell it is, but
I mean, with
I
them throwing the title world in there makes me feel that way.
one would assume, but you know what they say about assuming stuff, Armin.
Yeah, you know.
Um, yeah, I've never been a Monster Hunter person. I don't get it, but people love this crap. So, very huge title to get on PS4. Um,
Sure.
they showcase Call of Duty.
I'm sorry I missed that. I think I fell asleep during that.
They showcased a lot of the story stuff and just kind of the atmosphere of that. I don't know if that's where the multiplayer stuff. No, I don't think the multiplayer stuff got revealed there. I think that was later. Um, yeah, Call of Duty, of course. Sony, you know, pulled up their paycheck or excuse me, pocketbook, and paid for that.
Right?
That'll give them some dividends there. Call of Duty, of course, huge. This World War II one looks good. It looks solid. Um,
I'm sure it's going to get a lot less vitriol than Infinite Warfare did.
absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, that looked great. Good on Sony for having that on the stage. Destiny 2, again showcased on PlayStation on their stage, and they got some exclusive content coming for Sony platform. Uh, a new exclusive strike, an exclusive weapon, exclusive ship,
Hmm.
and I'm missing some. Oh, an exclusive multiplayer map. Um,
Now, I think it is very important because controversy popped up after the fact about this stuff. This is not. This is not. This is timed exclusive. This isn't total exclusive forever.
right, it isn't. And
So,
I guess if this were any other game, I would truly hate this. But with a game like Destiny, people will be playing it for years to come. People still to this day play Destiny, the first one, religiously. Um, but I don't like the whole timed exclusive content. That really rubs me the wrong way. Now, if it's a
well,
timed
I mean,
exclusive game, that doesn't bother me because eventually these people will get to experience the full scope of the game. Um, but the exclusive content stuff kind of pisses me off. But this is timed exclusive content. Xbox people will be getting this eventually, so
as will PC.
as will PC, of course. Destiny 2 on PC as well. So that's pretty
Oh,
cool.
there was some. Oh, there was some 4K PC. Oh, it's beautiful. Anyway, I
It
digress.
is, it is beautiful. Yeah. So Destiny, another huge third-party game that Sony got on their stage. Uh, you can't blame these third-party companies for wanting to be on that PlayStation stage. Uh, the
Not at
numbers are
all.
there. The numbers are
They
there.
are
So
60
why not?
million. 60 million.
Cannot blame them at all.
No.
So, moving on, we got kind of a surprise, and I guess I didn't hear any rumblings or rumors of this. We got a Shadow of the Colossus remake coming. I was a huge fan of the PS2 game. I thought it was different and just kind of breathtaking in the scope of the game, and I just thought it was great. So to see them remaking it, not remastering it, remaking it is exciting. Um,
Yeah, I, what was it? Either the day before or the day of, I saw an article that said that they had re-registered the trademark for Shadow of the Colossus.
mm,
Um, so didn't really necessarily thought that meant anything, but I mean, apparently it does. I didn't own a PS2, so I never played the game. I think, didn't they do a remaster on the PS3?
they did, yes.
So, I mean, this definitely isn't that. This is a remake.
Correct.
Um, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, I really don't have anything else to say about the game because I've never played it, so I have no point of reference.
For me, I think it's really cool, but I think that that game was so special and different when it came out that the experience I had with it was kind of one of those things that I just want to keep that way as a
It
memory.
does. I'm sorry. Correct me if I'm wrong. It doesn't even seem like it's going with the same type of art style, does it?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Does it?
It's very
Okay.
similar, yeah. Just
Okay.
a
I
lot.
mean, in my mind's eye from the pictures I had seen, it didn't seem like it was the same art style, but okay.
I mean, it's very, very much more pretty. But yeah. Um, yeah. What else?
Spider-Man?
Well, yeah, that was the end. God of War, of course, they
Oh
showed.
yeah. Yep.
Kind of showing some more story, kind of. We kind
Sort
of
of.
get a better idea of the relationship between the kid and Kratos, as in relation to the actual gameplay. It looks like he's going to be your little mini me, your little companion running around that you can use in combat, and it's pretty neat. Uh, the combat, of course, looks very visceral and God of War like. I know you were talking about how it wasn't as quick as you would have hoped.
No, it wasn't necessarily that. Is that E3 last year we saw a more thoughtful combat, at least what I felt was more thoughtful combat. This
Mm-hmm.
year it seemed it was a little more hack and slash like old God of War was.
Yeah, I really enjoyed what they showed off. Um, this is easily probably my, whew, that's probably my most anticipated game of E3 is God of War.
I don't even really know what my most anticipated game is. I really have to think about that some more. I mean, looking at the combat, as I said, I was a big fan of it last year. Seeing what they did this year, I'm less so of a fan. I don't know. I just the pacing in general with the Sony conference is kind of turned down my expectations and excitement for a lot of these games that are still coming. I mean, mind you, this is only the second time that we've seen a lot of them, but it's
Yeah,
the expectation unfortunately dropped from last year.
yeah, that's too bad that, you know, the bad conference kind of impacted how you felt excitement wise for the titles, but I definitely am still excited for those games. Um, the four that especially that I'm referring to. Um, yeah, but it was a bad conference. God of War, yeah, looks amazing to me, and by far probably my game of the show. Would go to God of War. I just can't say enough good stuff about what I've seen. So super excited for that. They showed, actually, I think they opened with this. Uncharted, the
Yes,
expansion, if you will, or standalone expansion.
standalone expansion.
Um, that, of course, I last year my game of the year was Uncharted 4.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You said it was your game of the year last year.
Yes. Yes, it was.
Okay. Um, yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, it's kind of some more of the same. I think what they showed last year also was a little bit more exciting than what they showed this year. I don't think it's going to be too bad. I mean, it's out fairly soon. I think August 22nd that's supposed to drop. So we don't really have long to wait for it. So, I mean, this
Yeah.
is kind of Sony's kickoff to the games it's got coming. I mean, I'm hoping that with the way they've got their calendar schedule set up, I'm kind of hoping that between August and then early to mid next year, say pre E3 next year, a lot of this stuff comes out. So I mean, maybe not all at once, but kind of that steady stream, almost in the way that Nintendo's doing their stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I again, my one of my favorite series, Uncharted. Those games are just so good, and some more of it. Sign me up. Definitely looking forward to Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. Um, yeah. What else is Sony show? Days Gone. They showed a little more in-depth gameplay of Days Gone.
I don't even know how I feel about that game anymore. I mean, I guess give me some more story, give me some more context. I mean, looks like excuse me, I almost said it looks like Uncharted. That's not what I meant to go with. Looks like Horizon, which okay, I'm good with that. That's fine. It's got zombies, check, as I said earlier. I mean, I'm not burned on zombies because I don't play a lot of games with zombies in them, so no big deal there. Um, Motorcycle Last of Us kind of vibe. All right. I mean, that's fine. Although I think I understand now why they didn't show The Last of Us 2 because that would have taken the attention away from this game.
Yes, 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 yes.
Um, but like, okay, what's the motivation of this character? I mean, I remember last year's video he talked about his dead wife or
Right.
dead girlfriend, and she's not coming back, and he misses those days. But like, I mean, I don't know. He seems like kind of like a lone wolf bounty hunter type of character. What's his motivation? What's going on? I mean, I don't know. Like, it's just as a single player experience. I mean, unless there's some motivation or some purpose. I mean, why am I playing this game?
Yeah, I'm right there with you as far as what is this game? What is this game? This year actually turned me off what they showed versus last year when they unveiled it. I
Hmm.
thought it was fascinating, which apparently isn't a popular opinion because I've saw opinions the complete opposite online. Um, I thought what they showed last year was cool and different, like these zombies coming at you. I mean, hundreds of zombies all at the same time in this total like World War Z fashion, and it was frantic and stressful and
I know.
interesting. And then this year, it seemed like they showed me a shittier version of The Last of Us.
Um, I,
They,
I, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just I found this year's uninteresting, and I guess it kind of showed you some more of what the gameplay is.
Hmm.
But what is the game? Like what you just it seems like they just took bits and pieces of like their other franchises and just mashed them together for the
Well, yeah,
sake of a
and I
game. I don't
mean,
know.
I mean, I want to be perfectly clear when I say this is that over since the launch of this generation, like I have been a big proponent of the PlayStation brand. Um, I own a PlayStation 4 Pro. I had at one time two original PlayStation 4s. I mean, but for everything that they showed this year, I have a certain level of ambivalence. I just don't care. I mean, stuff that I did care about last year, I mean, somehow they managed to turn and make me not care this year. Um, I mean, whether it's Days Gone or God of War, like, I mean, I was excited for God of War before we came into this, but after seeing what they showed me, I'm a little less so for some reason.
Huh.
Um, and also with Days Gone last year, really excited for that. This year, meh, not so much. And it seems to be that for me, the tide is turning back toward the Xbox or the PC in this case. Um, and I don't know if that's because of new hardware. I mean, because, well, I mean, I don't think it's the hardware aspect because I didn't care about the S at all. I mean, I got an S because of UHD Blu-ray, but as far
Right.
as the games, it didn't really change that experience. So I don't know. Like, I'm hoping Sony. I mean, there's talk Sony's going to do more conferences for Gamescom and Paris Games Week this year. So maybe they can turn that ship around for me. But I just whatever. I mean, as far as the Sony conference goes, I mean, I just really feel meh.
Well, I mean, as far as that goes, yeah, hoping for them to turn the ship around at this point. I think it's pretty clear the PlayStation Experience press conference where they showed the PS4. Wait, that wasn't that. No, that was its own event. PS4 Pro was its own
Yes, that
event.
was in
Never.
New York City in October last year.
Yeah, I think that conference seems to be the new trend. Like these really crappy conferences. I
I
don't know.
feel that PlayStation Experience in December though wasn't that bad.
No, it actually wasn't. It wasn't. Yeah, you're right.
So like I just don't know. Like it
Yeah.
just seemed like it, either the tone wasn't right or the beats weren't right or they didn't have enough talking or they wanted to try and do like out Microsoft instead of doing their own thing. I mean, I'm really not sure what the deal was, but I didn't walk away very impressed.
No, I'm with you on that. To a certain degree.
And
Like,
as I said, most of my titles are on the PlayStation 4 at this point. Like,
oh
I
yeah,
mean,
same here.
totally since 2013, I've got like five Xbox One titles. That's it.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. PlayStation's my main platform, um, but not for much longer. Um, yeah, so moving along to the other titles that I'm super pumped for. Detroit. They showed more on Detroit, and again, you are down on it compared to what you saw from last year. I'm actually the complete opposite. I'm even more excited for Detroit than I was last year. Uh, Having played David Cage games in the past, dating back to Indigo Prophecy on PS2, which was amazing. Um, Heavy Rain, amazing. I just love this guy's style. I love his ability to tell a story and to tell multiple stories and tie them together. I think he does it in games. I gotta be honest with you, better than anyone. Uh, and what they showed this year was just another character in this game. You know, last year they showed kind of like the detective edge and how your decisions could affect the outcome with that. This year they show the view from this android, I guess. In
Well, last year it was an Android too. Just the Android was a detective
right, he
cop
was a
sort of
detective.
Android, and this year it's a
Or this one's
criminal. I don't like throwing this word around, but terrorist type of vibe.
well, again, that's up to you. If you want to be the terrorist or you want to be um, maybe a little less violent, um, you have that option. So this is just another look into the game, a look into another one of the characters, and kind of knocks home the fact that you're gonna have multiple options, of course, And I don't know. I'm really super into this kind of game, and his in particular. And my hype level for that one is almost up there with God of War. Probably a close second for Game of Show would be that for me.
I
That's
got
all you
nothing.
got. That's all you got. You probably slept through that too, didn't you?
Detroit? No, I saw bits and pieces of that.
Okay, so kind of, of course, Sony touched on PSVR for actually
Oh, a little too
a
long.
little too long, I thought.
I mean, there were some interesting things there, but
Yeah, you got to double
uh,
down on it. I mean, they got so much invested in that space that I don't blame them for spending
yeah,
time on it, but it seemed
where
more like filler than anything else.
I mean, they get some interesting things there, but nothing that I really think you need VR for. So,
Yeah. And of course, last but not least, I'd like to talk about Spider-Man.
how
Spider-Man
about
looks so good. It blows my mind. I just want it right now. I want to play it right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it looks interesting. I'm a little curious about the QTE stuff. I hope that isn't that big of a part of that game. Um, I'm pretty big on the fact that the combat seems like a Arkham
Oh yeah.
sort of combat system. I'm hoping that they got that down pat. We'll see. Um, the graphics are looking decent. I know some journalists were commenting on the swinging with the webbing and talking about how Spider-Man was running around on the side of buildings more than he was swinging with his webs. So there was talk that maybe that's not quite good feeling.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know. Once again, I wasn't there. I didn't hold a controller. I couldn't say specifically. I mean, I know I've had issues with the Spider-Man games in the past. More specifically, the ones that came out around the last, not the, oh geez, Andrew Garfield, was that the last Spider-Man?
Mhm.
Not the ones that came out around his time, but the ones that came out around the original Spider-Man trilogy, the Sam Raimi ones.
Mhm.
And I didn't care for those Spider-Man games at all.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Based off from what we saw, I have zero concern or complaints with the game. Um, the QuickTime events seemed logical, like they fit, whereas some games it's kind of like a gimmick.
I mean, yeah, it could be, but at the same time, I would also be just as happy with mash the trigger to shoot out enough webbing to stop the helicopter.
Mhm. I mean, it's essentially what you're doing. It's just giving you a button prompt on the screen.
I suppose, yeah.
Yeah. Again, to touch on what you said, what did look awesome, of course, and I'm happy about is that Batman Arkham combat. It looks extremely similar, and that's a good thing because that combat system is phenomenal. And looks like they added some new stuff that you can do with your web traps, all that good stuff. It
Hmm.
looks like we're gonna have a great, cool Spider-Man story with little nods here and there. And I don't know if you noticed at the end of the trailer, they had Miles Morales, the new Spider-Man, taking some video of Peter Parker swinging on the web. So, will you get to also play as Miles Morales? I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
So, I mean, was it? I mean, was it Peter Parker as Spider-Man?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
He referenced himself as Pete, so
Oh, okay. I mean, yeah, I must have missed that little
yeah.
reference. I mean, it's possible. I mean, I know something. There's something to do with like the logo on the suit. I know they said that plays a big thing now.
Yeah, yeah, they said, and the reason why it's white, like they specifically said, because everyone's has a problem with the suit, with that part being white. Like it doesn't look right to some people, and I read something that said there's a particular reason why. So I have no idea. We'll find
I
out.
don't either. Yeah.
But hype level on that one as well, very very high. So
Is that also 2018?
yeah, that seems to be the trend with all of these, huh? With Sony in
Yeah.
general is 2018.
But even out of Microsoft, I mean, we saw Anthem 2018.
Oh, of
We saw some
course.
2017 stuff too, but I mean, even they had quite a bit that was 2018. It seems like we've
Yeah,
filled up 2018, and 2018 is not even here yet.
yeah, yeah. I think Microsoft was definitely more focused on this year than 2018, but definitely, of course, some things coming 2018. Um, yeah, pretty much everything except Uncharted. We aren't seeing anytime soon. Anything I'm personally wicked pumped about, I'm not seeing anytime in the near future. So that
Right.
that that's pretty disheartening, to be honest with
Because
you.
even Detroit's 2018, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
and and just to differentiate some of these titles, God of War specifically said early 2018, whereas something like Detroit just said 2018. So I think you can kind of infer where those are going to fall in the year.
so I think you may see God of War like in the Horizon spot next year.
Yeah, if I had to guess, I'd say March, and
Yeah, February, March. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's when God of War 3 launched as well. So yeah, so overall, Sony had some amazing exclusive games to show. I fully willing to admit that I am far more excited for the exclusive games coming from Sony than I am Microsoft. Um, However, I
Well, I mean,
did think that
really, this outside of Forza, Crackdown, and
State of Decay,
I don't think I have a third one outside of Forza and Crackdown. What did they show that was exclusive? I'd like first party.
State of Decay. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
Hello.
you. Hello.
Hello.
I can hear. I
You
can hear you.
can't?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Oh my
I
God.
said outside of Forza and Crackdown, what did they have that was exclusive?
State of Decay 2.
What two?
State of Decay.
Oh, State of Decay 2, yeah.
Oh my God, I'm gonna have to edit this big time.
Yeah, probably. I don't know, your microphone is doing that thing again.
Oh, great. Lovely. One day I'll
Where
fix that.
you're talking and then you start like fading and cutting out.
Lovely. Yeah. So definitely more excited for the Sony exclusives over
Oh yeah, no,
Microsoft
absolutely.
and that front.
I just realized that we didn't talk about
What's that?
um, Shadow of War.
Oh yeah, was
That was at
that was on
Microsoft.
Microsoft stage, Shadow of War. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one coming this year,
yeah.
and that's a big one getting a Xbox One X upgrade, which I read today. I think that's running at native 4K.
Oh, is it?
I'm pretty positive that's what I read.
Huh. Interesting.
Now I would guarantee
Uh,
you that that's at 30 frames per second, but
right. Oh, that's like an old thing. Okay. I was just trying to see to make sure that we kind of covered everything that we really wanted to. Oh, what was that? Oh, Fox's Lucky Tale. That was the other thing at Microsoft, like that kitty looking game. I don't know. That kind
Yeah.
of looks.
Yeah.
That kind of looks interesting to me too.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a pretty big omission, though. Of course, Shadow of War coming. Sequel from Shadow of Mordor, which was amazing, and I really, really enjoyed that game. So, looking forward to that in a big way. Looks like they added some uh, depth to that it needed to an already great formula. So, it's
Yeah,
it's gonna be
I'd say
awesome.
so.
Yeah. So, I guess moving on to the last thing that we'll talk about. We won't even talk about the PC game conference at E3 because, oh boy, that was real bad.
I
Um,
didn't even see it. I couldn't even comment on it.
nah, it was nothing to write home about for sure. Nintendo pulling up the rear. Um,
Yeah, good old
Good
Nintendo.
old Nintendo. They announced a bunch of things. Um, Metroid Prime 4 being one of the most exciting. That's gonna be
Probably the
awesome.
biggest.
Yeah, it's sick. Metroid Prime games are awesome. So getting this on Switch, hell yeah. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, a new Kirby game for Switch, some Breath of the Wild DLC, a deeper look into that.
Hmm.
Excuse me, this is a big one. Rocket League coming to Nintendo Switch.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, yep.
what else do we got here? Of course, the, probably the I would say this over Shadows Metroid, uh, Super Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, that should be interesting. I'm glad that they're saying that's still this year.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's coming this year, and it looks zany, looks crazy, it looks fun. Uh, Everything you want in a 3D Mario game. It looks like it's got. So that crazy hat mechanic they were showing off, where you like throw your hat around and whatever it lands on, you become that. A Mario
Mm-hmm.
version of that. So there's a little mustache on the T-Rex. That was pretty funny.
Man, I can't wait to play Goomba.
Yep, Goomba with a mustache. Hell yeah. So yeah, it's pretty sweet. Of course, they showed off ARM stuff. That's coming out extremely soon. This month,
Mhm.
actually, isn't it? Or next month? I think it's this month.
Arms.
This month.
I I think it's this month because I know reviews just started going up.
Yeah, it's this month, and then Splatoon 2 is next month.
Hmm.
Kind of keeping pace with their exclusive first-party title every month, it seems like. So if they're already on pace to blow their Wii U titles out of the water as far as pace for releasing them.
Hmm. They sure are.
So,
Actually, one thing that Reggie was saying, I don't think he said this during the conference, but he was being interviewed by somebody after the fact and said that we may see some more Wii U remakes in the future.
yeah, yeah, I read that as well. Um, Actually, the article, I have it on the screen here. Not the article, but the headline. Uh, yeah, they plan on bringing some more Wii U titles over. However, they don't want them to be straight ports of those games. We're going to see more um, deluxe, if you will, versions of those games, like with Mario Kart and with Pokken Tournament. Um, we're going to see some more of that, which, hey, it makes perfect sense for them. Why not? Because no one bought a Wii U, and
Right?
their first party games on the Wii U are so good. Why not actually put it in people's hands who will actually play them and buy them?
So my question is, are they going to include some of the HD remasters that they put on the Wii U in that category?
Mm, I don't think so. Like what exactly?
Wind Waker and
Um,
Twilight Princess.
um, actually, you know what? I'm gonna say yes. Why not? Why not? If you're Nintendo, why not? The more games you can put on that Switch, it's
Hmm.
gonna make them fly off the shelves even faster than they already are. In an interview, I think Reggie was, I forget who he was speaking with, um, but he touched on the supply constraint issue and that they are working on it. So even now, we're now in June, the console launched in March.
Yep.
This thing you can't even find on the store shelves, you know?
Hmm.
So,
Although I did not see numbers for May. We should be seeing those pretty soon too. I
yeah,
would think out of
yeah,
NPD.
yeah. I mean, all indications would say that it sold extremely well yet again. So, again, if they can keep this pace up through the rest of the year, um, as skeptical as I was about Switch, they may have made the right call.
As far as I'm concerned, all they got to do is beat 13 million units.
Yep. I mean, obviously they probably want a hell of a lot more than that, but
Well, of course.
that in itself is a victory, and you know you did something better.
Yes.
So,
So, I mean, I think that is victory number one that needs to be achieved.
yeah. Yep. So
And
yeah,
I know that I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say Nintendo's Direct was very to the point. It was about a half hour, I believe.
Hmm.
Um, they showed some games that are coming out this year, and announced some titles that we'll be seeing hopefully soon. So they are keeping the train going with these first party games, and it's impressive. Nintendo is actually impressing me with what they're doing with the Switch.
Yeah. I mean, I spent some time with my Switch, quite a bit in the beginning, and then the channel has kind of pulled me away from being able to spend much more time with it. But I'm hoping here at some point I can sit down and put more time in. Zelda
Yeah.
does call my name.
Oh man, Breath of the Wild is great, and it's great too. Basically, even if you played for a half hour every night, dude, with
Hmm.
Breath of the Wild, just make your goal completing a shrine, and you see
Right.
one off in the distance. You go, you discover it. You know, you might get into some trouble along the way, and then you go inside, you take some time, solve the puzzle, next thing you know, 30, 40 minutes have gone by and you haven't spent your whole night playing it, but you've accomplished something. And
Right.
that game's perfect for that. That game is so good. um, yeah, but yeah,
You know what
Nintendo.
I wish
Woo.
Nintendo would have done, and this is just really, really stupid and random.
What's that?
Uh, Done like a reworked version of Super Mario Brothers 3.
Yeah, yeah.
And the only reason I say that is because this is the like 29th or 30th anniversary of that game.
That'd be pretty neat. Hey, don't put it past them, man. They love celebrating their heritage, so um, keep your eyes peeled for that.
Right?
Never know. Yeah. So overall, Nintendo impressive. They showed some really cool stuff, announced some exciting things that people have been waiting for, and they continue to release first-party games at a rapid pace.
They do. It's going to be awesome.
Yep. So that pretty much wraps up the E3 post press conference reactions here. Um,
E3 is done,
E
everybody.
E3 is officially done, and we were both impressed and not impressed in the same breath. In average E3, with the highlights I think being Microsoft and probably Ubisoft. They seem to, not me personally, Ubisoft with a lot of people, a lot of goodwill there, And Sony's games, not their
Hmm.
conference, but what they're going to put in our hands seems good. And Nintendo's straight and to the point.
Right? Thank you, Nintendo.
Thank you. Yeah, that is going to go ahead and do it for this episode of The Benchmark. I am Nate. You can follow me on Twitter at Nate M. Spears. Armin, where can they find you?
Oh, well, they can find me over here on YouTube at Armin's Tech Talk. As you and I have discussed, still considering either English change to that or a name change. I'm not quite sure which way I'm going with that. Also, over at Armin's Tech Talk on Twitter.
Perfect. Yeah, as always, if you like what you've seen, like, subscribe, and please comment. We're both very open to having discussions with anyone watching these uh, about games or things we can improve or things you liked.
Hey, all
Uh,
I'm saying is just get prepared for a text wall.
Lovely. Um, yeah, so that has been the benchmark, and we will catch you next time.
Later.